Wrong one. And ahoy, my friends. It is your friend, streamer, occasional lover, Sabaton Liam here, back again after a long 2-week hiatus for D&D. So good to be back. How are you guys going? I hope you are doing very, very well. Now, I'd like to say a big ahoy to Miss and Mr. Gaming if you're still in the chat. Ahoy, you were here earlier while you were patiently waiting. Now, let us get into it. There's no one really in the chat anymore, so let's get to it.
Those look awesome just by the names.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Yes, it does look awesome.
Lots of them are.
Ah!
Is that we're good now?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to D&D after a month break, week's break, whatever.
2 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks?
3 weeks?
2
I
weeks.
thought it was 2.
Yeah, I thought it was only 2
So
sessions.
that it moved
Yeah,
this
this is the third week.
sessions, which means it's been 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah, I guess we put it that way.
Yes.
Maths.
Math, bitch.
But we're back!
Yeah.
Okay, a quick recap for the chat.
Quick, good luck with this. You're probably wondering how we got here.
Yes. So, after they claimed artifact from the burial mound, they went and journeyed to Gauntlgrim. Angus was very excited. Spent some time in Gauntlgrim getting a feel for the place, and it was then that the fire primordial Megara was stolen by a group of drow. In the last 2
Jesus!
sessions, been tracking the drow into the Underdark, and they've just reached the end of the drow dungeon and are about to eater of the drow the fire primordial back.
Hold on one sec. Thanks, Kitty, for renewing the
Need to
sub
thank
for
me.
4 months. The
Yay.
alert just went off, or the Wind Hussars arrived. Scared the shit out of me!
I honestly thought Jesus showed up.
Jesus!
Well, maybe next time.
I'll be back. I need to rescue my cat from a precarious situation.
Outstanding.
Okay.
So yeah, long story short, Dwarven City, hooray. People stole shit from Dwarven City.
Boo.
Boo. Somehow we've turned what could have been a 1-session dungeon into about 3.
Yeah,
Going-
we're on the 3rd of it, I think.
Yeah. So close. Also, Liam, we're going to see if Liam can extend his amazing luck streak that he's had the last 2 weeks. Is that right, Liam? Yes. For anyone who missed it, in 2 literally the 2 sessions you guys were away, Liam has on 2 separate occasions in 2 different sessions rolled a nat 1, which caused his axe to fly out of his hands and into a nearby body of water, which is just amazing.
And the first time he tried to retrieve it, it was wedged under a rock, and he pulled so hard that he snapped the blade off.
So strong.
Part of it anyway.
Well, can we just acknowledge the fact that I finally executed my plan and it worked?
I'm sorry, what plan?
The hitting
To hit a
motherfucker
motherfucker
with
with
another
another
motherfucker.
No, I don't recall that ever happening, and there's no proof it ever happened.
Oh yeah, no, that never happened.
You mean just like the proof that my axe is not broken because no one saw it?
If we
know,
did
we
have
saw that.
proof, we would be able to prove that Liam did indeed grapple a drow, throw it at another drow, and cause both of them to tumble into a ravine.
Man, that would have been awesome if it had actually happened.
Shut up.
Here we are in the middle of the drow dungeon, and you are about to follow the strange figure that you saw levitating down the tunnel. There two before you enter.
Well, whatever we're doing, we need to obviously do it quick, because we are
Who wants
limited on-
poison? No one?
My
Okay.
lie is not activated yet, is it?
No, you need to attune to it
Yeah.
first.
Well, I
Rest.
So we're not doing a short rest, are we?
It does
No.
not look that way.
You can do a short rest if you like. I'll just roll.
I'd really rather not.
Yeah, I don't want to risk it.
Yeah,
I would
let's
rather
just have
cast
some
Cure
potions.
Wounds on myself 2 or
Very
3
well.
times.
and whatnot.
Oh, I need to bring that up because I don't know how to. Oh, hold on, I do have it.
And you know what? I think I will take a poison and rub it on the axe.
All right. Here's a weak poison.
Right. So the axe for the.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Angus.
I was going to say, how is everyone doing for health across the board?
I was 45.
I've got
Okay.
47.
I've got 18, which is why
So,
I'm using
Holy
if I was to
Jesus.
say, just hear me out. If I was to say, use my 4th level spell slot, which I got back to a 4th level prayer of healing, would that help people?
Yes.
Well-
Basically 4d8 plus my spellcasting ability back of health.
So who needs... What's Dan trying to say?
I believe M1 is just lost to the void.
Yep.
Remember, you guys do have the spell slot restoring.
I already used mine.
But I believe Milo and Dan Cooper still have
Yeah,
it.
that's what I was going to say. I'll use my Cure Wounds on myself, heal myself up, and try to keep your highest level heal safe.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's probably a good idea. Might keep that just in a reserve, because the only other spells I have for 4th level at the moment is Fabricate and Wall of Fire. Now, obviously, Fabricate is useless, and Wall of Fire is not going to be much help in this particular outing.
Oh, I should. Oh, sorry, Archie. I'm gonna have to wake you up so I can get my book. Sorry, Archie.
So
And-
organized.
Nargle's sword will now deal
Axe.
6 poison damage.
I will cover my dip my arrows in the poison, the one I have that's got the 2d6.
Right? Yep. D6 poison damage on your arrow for the next encounter.
Alright, Cure Wounds is what page? 226, 277.
I will write that down. And remove that.
10, that works out well.
Okay, so that's
47
29.
health.
Cure Wounds.
I then drink my water of...
your magic water to
Yes, that
restore
one.
your spell slots.
and then I use one more Dark Vision.
to carrot and chomp down on the carrot, and suddenly you're able to see once again.
Yes, so now I have 4 level 1 spells and 1 level 2 spell. And I am only 3 points off being full health, so I think that worked out quite well.
What the hell's Cure
And-
Wounds?
Nargle might be able to cast Cure Wounds. I'm going to put it in the chat for Liam.
Yeah, it said it was on page 277, but it's not on here.
And
Or it's just
I-
here. It's just 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier.
Ah.
I also rub my strong poison onto my elongated whip.
Yeah,
Alright,
you do.
your strong poison, that is 5d6 poison damage.
So, what was
Was
it?
it
1d8 was my d8.
Yes, I believe.
When I made it, you said it was 8d6.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
8d6. Yep, that's it.
So
No,
it is
I'm
8?
taking
Okay,
it
cool.
for the,
Just
yeah, I
wanted to
was
make
taking
sure.
it for the other lesser strong poison.
Plus
Yeah, no,
my
this is
spellcasting
the
modifier.
really good stuff that I got to make ages ago.
Yes, that's right.
My spellcasting modifier is, where is that?
That's your wisdom, so it's +1.
Oh, my wisdom, okay, so I went up 9. Okay, that's pretty good.
My elongated whip is 1d8 plus my dex plus
Plus-
+1 plus 8d6,
Yes,
and it's a +1 to hit. So
yes. Plus it has the chance to poison.
Good girl, money.
this is
How are
why
we
I want
looking-
more of this poison.
Are you looking on health, Dan?
Mr. Robot Voice.
I think I'm on full health. I'm not too sure.
Or don't you have your sheet in front of you?
Yeah, but for some reason, every time I update it, it just clears everything.
Okay. Well, we'll throw you a bone and say you're at full health at the moment. I don't recall.
Well, he didn't get damaged in the last fight. I know that.
That's
Yeah,
right.
no, he
yeah,
didn't.
That's right.
Because remember,
so
my
he is at
bullshit
full
got us
health.
so far.
Just put yeah. I'll just say you're at full health. You didn't get damaged in the last fight, so you're okay.
I think I've run away in
Right.
the opposite direction. Oh, something scary.
And who's ready to move on?
I am good now. I've got my
I
poison
am
on
ready now. Yes.
poison,
Let's do
got good
this.
health. Now, if you just chuck on the music and map.
Yes. Music will come on momentarily, but first, you make sure you're ready. You store your wounds and treat yourselves as best you can for moving into the tunnel after the mysterious figure. Chase him through the dark tunnel, eventually to emerge a large open room.
I'm gonna stealth.
Yes, you may do a stealth check, please.
Yep.
Oh, 22.
Damn.
Oh my lord.
I keep forgetting that you have such a high proficiency in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna have higher soon too.
Oh god.
Right.
I'm gonna be able to steal everything.
Not within Gauntle Grim.
Okay. I'm working with the priest.
Good.
He's my
barely
friend.
barely have time to react.
Can I disguise myself as one of the enemy? Using my disguise kit and robe of fashions?
I don't.
Barely
I'm
have
not sure if that's gonna work.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, no. This thing is actually somewhat intelligent. I don't think you're gonna be able to bullshit this one.
No, you
Oh.
can't.
Are they doors
Worth a
and
shot.
walls?
those are doors. Yes, you barely have time to
crap.
enter the room before mysterious figure floats across the room to a set of doors. Up
Oh
some
god, there's more than
stairs,
one enemy. Great.
where it perches above a stone throne. You can see the iron flask dangling from its left hand. Then it points its right hand, barks something in a language you cannot comprehend. 3 drow warriors leap out from their hiding spots, their weapons drawn, ready to defend. Roll for initiative, please.
I reckon I can do that. Oh god,
Oh.
this,
11.
that is. Oh, that. What's.
17 for Milo.
Has anyone else lost the screen?
Yeah, I lost
Yeah.
it.
It'll come.
Okay, so upsides and downsides.
10.
Upsides. Oh, downsides.
I got 20.
12 plus 4, so 16.
I got 21.
Say upsides and downsides of the situation. Downsides, there's more than one enemy. Upsides, we're covering the only door that leads to an exit, so he can't piss off.
Another upside, the Mind Flayer is by itself, so far as we know, in a different room.
Yeah.
Which means we're not, at the moment, fighting it plus some drow.
Yeah, it's just the drow to deal with right this second.
And another plus side, I still have bonus attacks on them because they're my mortal enemy.
Yes, I will roll. Dan Cooper's initiative is 14. There we go. I will now roll for the enemy. That
What's
is
small roll? Fucking 26.
I actually rolled
22,
10.
I believe.
So. I'll be
10.
fair.
No, but you add your dexterity mod, which is
Oh,
4,
wait, what?
so
Oh
14.
shit.
I
So-
love my.
Right. And first up, we have the enemies.
Well, shit.
Mind Flayer barks something in a strange languge. Its mouth tentacles flailing wildly.
Do you feel
Oh,
death?
Oh no! Right. The Mind Flayer is now Davy Jones.
Right. This before, but I just have to open my monster manual.
No, you don't. Just let us kill them. After asking for consent.
Do
May
I
we
have
kill you?
Again, we have to do fear
Weird.
death.
Oh, they are living creatures, so
I hope you don't mind, but I'd like to cut off your head now.
Wait, no, we need to do this properly. If it's all the same to you, how do you feel about sitting down and talking this out like equals? Okay, then. I
Okay.
don't think he's going for that.
the first drow elite warrior fires a crossbow bolt at Dan Cooper.
Oh, goody.
And that's a hit.
Oh no.
Wait, crossbow that is
Ooh.
works? What sorcery is
Yes.
this?
Oh,
And it's
why the blood? Why the
only
blood?
You don't want to know the answer to that question.
1d6. Okay, you take 6 damage, Dan Cooper, and you must make a Constitution save.
Oh,
And they're poisoned. Oh, good.
what? Me, you shot me. Good.
Oh, God.
19.
You pass. Good,
Oh, nice.
good.
Thank you, Faye.
Other Drow elite warrior rushes forwards, and he engages Nargle.
Oh,
hand
it's
combat.
on now.
Oh, you picked the wrong motherfucker.
And he hits both times.
Oh, what?
Yeah, dexterity.
Oh, shit.
They use dexterity for their attacks, and they are nimble little bastards.
And you take 17 points of slashing damage.
Jesus,
You
that's right.
must-
54 minus.
You must make a and you us 20 points of poison damage.
Wait, what? Wait,
Or-
what was that? Sorry.
It's 20 points of poison damage. So, and
What?
you have resistance to slashing damage, so that is altogether that is 28 points of damage.
Oh.
Ow.
Third
Okay, now I'm
Third-
even more scared.
third Drow elite warrior pushes forwards and engages Angus in direct combat.
Great.
D20s, and he hits you one time. 5 points of slashing damage plus
But
plus
yes.
Plus a song.
15 points of poison damage.
Why is that halved because of resistance?
So 7 points of poison
That's
damage.
12 all up.
12 all up.
Bless the poison resistance.
Meanwhile, in the other room, through the barred doors, see the Mind Flayer hovering above his throne. He raises his hand, points the other room towards the party, his mouth twisting into a smile underneath his
No.
mouth tentacles.
100 years servitude as a start.
I would like each of you to make an intelligence saving throw,
Oh,
please.
Ah, shit.
Christ.
Hey,
This
what
is where. Oh, no.
Oh, poor Dan.
On intelligence saving throws, because I
no.
don't have a plus. I don't have a mod. Do I just need to get? Do I just use?
Yep. You just roll your d20 then.
Oh,
Okay,
bye,
crap.
Dan.
That's a
That's a pass
13.
from Kitty. Kitty's
Uh-huh.
taken no damage.
I got a 9.
9, that's a fail from Milo. And how did we do, Angus?
Yeah, good. 18.
18, how did we do, Nargle?
13.
18, that's a fail.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's see. So that
Wow.
is.
Dice gods are continuing to jam their fist right into Dan.
Oh, yeah, the dice god doesn't like Dan.
Poor Dan
It's
Cooper.
okay,
It's only just started.
Right, so.
Mercy!
So Dan, Nargle, and Milo, you each take
Oh no, this is gonna be fun.
16 points of psychic damage. You are, and Milo and Nargle, you are stunned for 1 minute.
Am
Great.
I stunned because
Oh.
of my necklace?
Milo is not stunned.
Great. It was my turn next, and now I'm stunned and on 6 HP.
Oh!
Nargle.
Oh,
So we skip your turn and move on to
God damn it.
Kitty. Sorry, Milo.
Wait, doesn't he get a saving throw?
Just
No.
stunned.
Stunned for a minute.
Okay.
So we're now up to Milo's turn.
Okay, this is...
I did ask if people wanted healing before we started.
I
this.
said yes.
Everyone else said no. Well, I know what I'm using my turn for then, clearly.
God damn it.
Rip.
I can only hope
It's
for
okay, he can only do that every 5 rounds. You're okay.
Oh, thank God.
I attack the guy that's attacking Angus.
Yep, okay. Roll your attacks, please.
Whip it good.
Please let the metal one hit. Oh, the metal one was a nat 20.
Oh, damn!
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a hit.
And
All damage
the,
and double it.
Yeah, and the chain whip was over 20.
Right.
Okay, so damage is 1d6 and 1d8.
And you double the poison damage as well.
Holy shit!
Oh,
I'm
damn!
gonna roll this in the actual chat because it's
Yes,
way too
go
many
ahead.
dice rolls. Okay, so I've got to double that.
7. So that's 22 so far.
So 16d6, is it, for the poison?
Yep.
Holy shit.
Fuck!
Whoa! This will be fun.
What did you get?
I was gonna say. Trust me.
7.
Oh!
Oh my god!
Now I've got to roll for my
can't.
fucking chain whip.
Lash out with your whip.
I think you're
and
dead.
Strike him with your poison whip, injecting a dose of poison right into his neck. Falters for a moment, raises his sword, and then turns pale and falls to the ground.
Like, huh? Yeah, you fool! That didn't even. Oh God! Never mind.
Holy shit, I'm never doing that ever again. I can guarantee that. And my chain whip, do I still roll damage considering I was aiming at that one?
No, don't bother rolling
Okay.
damage.
Yeah.
Right,
so
next set of
my
next-
second attack, I
And
roll
the other guy.
to hit the guy attacking Nagel.
Damn.
Right, go ahead.
Avenge me!
It's done.
Whip it.
Whip it good.
Whip it good.
Is a 17 and a 26.
Let's have a look. Yep, that's the 17 misses, 26 hits.
I was gonna say this
Okay,
is
so
just
that was the middle one again.
again.
Okay, so D8. That's 13 without the poison. $25. So what did I say? That was 8. 13 plus 25.
13. Yep, so 33 points of damage, a good hit altogether.
Oh.
Now he must roll a constitution save.
Feel free to fail that one.
He
like-
fails
Yay!
and immediately takes 7 points of poison damage.
Oh.
Oh,
Notice this
I-
drow turn a slightly paler shade of blue.
Double D, double die.
Right. It is Kitty's turn.
Oh, man. I am in stealth.
Yes.
You are still in stealth.
I will shoot the closest one
Right, yep,
and then hide.
right. Roll to hit, please.
Go for the neck.
What's my to hit?
It
Plus,
should...
+7.
Yes.
Oh no, the stream's gone again.
That's because I minimized it. There we go, it's back.
Fuck.
Yep, that's a miss.
Well, I
Kitty,
guess I'm hiding.
I don't think you need to roll because you fired with Whisper.
I haven't
that's-
attuned to Whisper yet.
Oh, that's right. Yes. So yes, roll a
I
stealth
should have
check,
just
please.
gone, yes.
Yeah.
Roll your stealth check.
With value honesty.
She may be a thief, but she's an honest thief.
Honest thief. Honesty among
Yeah.
thieves. Yep,
Well,
that's definitely a
I nat
Then-
20'd.
Bye.
In fact, I'm going to move you a little bit. You immediately duck away and hide behind this pillar.
And that 20, you could have easily just stood at the opening and going, "Fuck off, can't hit me."
In fact, because you got a nat
Pretty much.
20, I'll actually move you closer to the door. So here.
Do I want to be closer to the door?
Well, it's closed.
you're-
at the
you're-
moment, so.
It's you're stealthed.
Yeah, true.
Or
Either
you're
way, we
fine.
need to get in there.
No one
okay.
knows where I am.
Okay. It is Dan Cooper's turn, but Dan is stunned for this turn, so he can't act. leaves us with Angus's turn.
A quick question. Sorry to interrupt for a second. Can you, with Dimension Door, is it possible for me to grab somebody and teleport directly behind the Mind Flayer, and then stab him in the back?
You can
And
also
then-
bring one willing creature of your size.
Yes, you can teleport directly to the Mind Flayer. You can also bring someone with you.
Yeah.
Backstabbies.
Who wants to do some backstabbies?
I would suggest Reva because of her stealth bonus,
Yeah.
but then I've also
Dude.
got that poison.
But she's already in stealth already.
Yeah, she's too far away unless he runs up to her before he casts the spell.
But does that consider toward, like, if I say, okay, we're going to go do a stealth attack towards a particular character, does that also waste? Do they use my action? Or how
No,
does that work?
all you're doing is you're teleporting them into range so that in their next round they can do
Okay.
the sneak attack. Yes.
All right. But at the moment, I'm stunned. That's fine.
Angus, you're up. What do you want to do?
Well, as much as I'd like to really hit someone in the face, I believe a number of people need healing. So, yeah, let me go ahead and immediately bust out the 4th level prayer of healing, because clearly it's a necessary thing at this point. So, how many people here need healing?
I'll take it if you're getting it.
And Cooper and Nargle both need it.
Outstanding.
mostly.
Well, alright, so that's... What's that? Yep, 4d8. That is going to be 33 points of health back.
Oh, I only needed 20,
Ooh.
but damn.
That brings Dan Cooper back up to max, and Nargle's not gonna say no.
How
I'm
much?
guessing
How
I'm
much
not
was
in
it again?
range for that.
No, you're 30 feet. Whereabouts are you?
Yep, so Reva gets it as well.
How much
Wait, I'm
HP
back
was
up
it again?
full.
5, 10. Actually, no, she doesn't. She's just out of range.
Ah,
Right, it is the enemy's turn.
Okay.
Well, at least he's not gonna die.
Drow Elite Warrior swings at Nargle with his short sword. And... Ooh, he misses one time, but nat 20's on the second
Oh,
hit.
I believe that's Dragonborn for fuck off.
Okay, and that's only 5 points of slashing damage, so you're okay there.
But-
Now, all the poison damage, of course. It is roll. X is 20 points of poison damage, so 25 points altogether.
Oof.
doesn't he get half slashing damage?
Yeah, I already
that's why
halved it.
wasn't 10.
Second Drow Elite Warrior raises his hand bow and fires at Milo. And he misses.
Aha.
Meanwhile, Mind Flayer sits in the other room and surveys the battle happening just in front of him. And this point decides
Oh my god, seriously.
cast. This is his hand, points through the barred door, decides to cast a sleep spell.
No.
What? Oh, piss.
Devil gets to roll.
Well, I believe
8.
Liam's about to get a nap.
31, and with this, Nargle falls to the ground.
God damn it!
unconscious, snoring loudly. Nargle, is now your turn, and you may attempt to wake up from sleep.
I'm
Make
just
a-
stunned.
Make a Constitution save.
Constitution
Yeah,
is +6. Fantastic. Okay.
Wait, what? +3 plus your saving throw. Okay. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's 19.
19.
Okay.
And as you fall to the ground and all the sleepiness coming over you, you manage to climb, force yourself to act, delaying the inevitable another round.
Wait,
Take your
what-
turn.
Okay, you kind of broke in and out of that.
you manage to force yourself back to your feet, delaying the inevitable nap for another round. You may take your turn, but you have 1 level of exhaustion.
Rage.
Right? Yep. It's time to fucking rage.
Ah!
Oh, you're in for it now, Sonny Jim.
Right.
Not 20. Ah!
All right. It's a hit. Roll for damage. Double it.
Oh, okay.
Chill, dude.
No, I will never chill. Okay.
I know.
That's an 8. Plus 6. Okay, now let's add in everything. Okay, so, okay. 8 plus 6 plus 6 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus
You don't
another
get-
2.
Nope.
What?
What? You don't get one of those 2s because your axe is damaged.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, yeah, okay. Minus
Two.
2. That's 26. Oh, yeah, and double it.
26, and
That is
even
52.
though you're barely even conscious, you force yourself to stay awake and you doggedly lash out with your axe. And you're not quite awake to take his head off, but you do sever his neck and his head just sort of dangles off a piece of sinew as he falls to the ground.
Oh, look, it's nearly headless Nick.
Let me fix that. Bush.
Nope. Liam, go nap now, bud.
Oh, no. Oh, Reagan, sleep. Alright, so I'd like to rush to the other drow, thank you, and whack him
Yes.
over the head.
Very well. Rush up and... Ah!
Oh,
Okay.
not when you're dead.
Okay. 10... That's 21.
Remember, you're rolling with
You double.
disadvantage.
Oh wait, no, that one's not double. Never mind.
Oh, you're rolling with disadvantage, okay, so...
You are
That's 18.
Tired.
18. That's a hit. Roll for damage.
Where's my thingy? 8, and...
Oh wait, Professor.
Double 8. I will never go away.
I said Professor.
My name is now Professor. 6 plus 2 plus 2 and plus 2. 28.
8. You groggily walk up to him, and when you reach him, you raise your axe and you go, and then lash out with a big
God.
yawn. Pushing through his armor.
Yeah,
Oh
you
my
always
God.
had a bit of a temper when it came time to wake up.
You know how cranky you get when you're tired.
Still on his feet. You've dealt a significant blow, and with that, you've moved, so your turn is over. Next we have Milo's turn.
Welcome on.
Wait.
What?
Don't I still have an extra attack?
No,
you
you
moved.
Okay, yeah. Wait.
Only 2 attacks. Okay, Milo, you're up. What would you like to
Okay,
do?
I move within 10
The
feet of him.
normal attack, the extra attack, and two attacks from raging.
We've already got a level.
I can
of
move and attack,
exhaustion.
can't I?
Yes.
Plus, you only raged this turn, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go.
And I roll to attack with both my whips.
Remember, you only get one. You only get to do this once because you moved. So,
Yep.
all right,
Okay,
roll with both your whips.
I miss with my metal whip, unfortunately.
Yep, that is unfortunate.
Yep. But my chain whip is 15 plus 7, so what's that? 20.
That's a hit. Roll for damage.
Fuck off. That's 5 damage.
Of damage.
That's
That's
not
better
enough.
than nothing.
Yeah.
He's still stumbling from the blow Nargle gave. Reach out with the whip and strike the gash in his armor. T, you're up.
Me?
You?
So, can we do something about the door if it's barred or locked? Just
Yes, someone's gonna have to open it.
Fuck. Alright.
Friends,
I
the
guess-
best at
I want to go to the door that's close. Wait, no. I guess the door I'm at. And I want to try to unlock it.
Right, you move up to the door and see a small keyhole at the edge of the set of bars. Make a Thieves' Tools check, please. That is... And Milo, yes, you can use your ram ring. And that is a circle around the Thieves' Tools, and then there's a click, and the door of bars slides away into the wall, granting access to the room
And
beyond.
I'm gonna hide.
Yeah.
Make
the door
a
opens. Yeah, the door opens. All you can
make
hear
a
is-
strength check, please.
You mean stealth?
Off check. Yes, sorry.
Yeah, just the door opens. All you hear is nope.
That is pass. Okay. Move up. Wedge yourself right under where the Mind Flayer is ending.
Nope.
I don't like this.
I don't like it.
Fine.
No, no, no.
Like it.
As long as it doesn't know where you
Okay.
are, it won't remove your brain.
It's Dan Cooper's turn.
All
Okay,
we
I'm
want
back.
to
Did I miss
do is
anything?
eat your brains.
Ooh, okay.
It's not
So,
unreasonable.
am I currently engaged? I'm not engaged in combat with anyone at the moment, am I?
Nope,
No.
you are not.
I just took a crossbow to the knee.
Well, there's your adventuring days over.
Yep, fuck early retirement. Let me watch the stream. Sorry, I'm just haven't. It's not even coming up on my screen. But let's see what we can do here. Can I please? I'm not going to cast Thunderwave at anybody because it's
No.
not very good. Collateral's like a big thing.
Yes. Surprisingly.
Who am I next to? I'm probably Galway, aren't I?
You're
Next to Angus.
Angus.
Yes. Would you like to teleport yourself and Angus into the other room?
Angus, would you like to grab my hand and do like a little sneak attack on our Mind Flayer friend right behind him? Hey?
You wouldn't be able to sneak attack, but you can flank him. Milo, you didn't take any damage.
Cool, thanks.
So,
Oh, I
And-
don't want to get close to this fucking thing, but clearly this is what we're going with. I'm the only one next to you, so
right. Dan,
You can move up next to me and I'll take the chance.
would you like to take Milo or Angus?
Probably best to keep the healer alive.
Yeah. I
you.
might take Milo.
Right.
Milo, would you like to electro chain whip him to the face?
Oh, fuck yes.
Run up to Milo and you clasp Milo by the hand. Then you point into the other room where the Mind Flayer is standing, and suddenly a large stone door materializes out of nothing. Still clasping Milo by the hand,
Scream.
open the door and jump through.
Is it
and
like
find yourself.
lightning bolts start shooting out? Like, what's the
No.
visualization?
just something quiet so you don't get
Yeah.
immediately busted.
They duck into. You see them duck into the door, and it shuts behind them and dematerializes. Then in the other room, the door appears just behind the Mind Flayer, and both of them step out of it, taking positions right behind him.
Sorry.
Hey.
Joe.
It's the enemy's turn.
Fuck.
Wait, I haven't had to go yet.
Oh wait, yeah, Angus. Sorry, your turn. Yes.
Well, might as well take care of this last drow and then get on to helping everyone else.
Yep. So you're gonna rush up to him.
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
I just have
Well-
to survive one
Right.
fucking grapple.
How does a 19 look?
Nah.
Yeah, that's a hit. Roll for damage.
Outstanding. Alright, where's my warhammer?
Sorry,
Where did I
sorry
put,
guys.
honey?
Making me the suicide.
Okay.
That's gonna be 10 damage. Oh, sorry, wait, 12 damage.
12 damage, and that's gonna finish him off.
Yes.
Swing your little hammer and crush his head. with a
Your little
massive
hammer.
blow. Oh, he's
Don't
gonna
roll
get
like
he's
that.
getting
Crush his kneecap.
a bigger one.
Don't
Uh,
kill him.
It is the enemy's turn now. Just the Mind Flayer left.
Yep.
And this is
dear.
what
Okay.
I'm scared of.
Oh god.
Okay. I would like and
No.
Cooper and Milo to please each roll a d20 and
Oh,
tell me
Oh,
what you've
no.
got.
No.
No.
Oh, 17.
17. Dan Cooper,
Come on.
roll
It
because
begins.
Please, please,
we'll
please,
roll
please.
for Dan Cooper so he doesn't. It's a
Oh,
1.
come
obviously.
on.
Oh no.
No.
He's dead.
Up. Well, he goes for the one with the highest. So Milo, you're up, unfortunately.
No! What do you mean it goes for the one with the highest?
No. Well, he's gonna go. Well, that was how I was doing it, Call of Cthulhu style. I was doing a luck check.
Oh
So,
no.
Yeah. Right. That's a hit. Okay. Here we go, Milo. Mind Flayer turns towards you, and his mouth tentacles begin to lash
No.
your direction.
I probably
Now
should have asked you to
tentacle-
take us
Yeah.
10 feet away from the damn thing.
Yeah,
In
but he did-
hindsight, that would have been clever.
and he hits you just. Okay, you were taking.
No. You're going to eat your brain. We have made a terrible error.
You take 17 points of psychic damage.
Ooh.
You must now make an intelligence save, please.
I'm not gonna lie, this is precisely why I didn't want to go next to this damn thing.
Oh, what the fuck is
They were
51 hit points?
flanking him. Flanking.
Yes, flanking good. Ripping out brain stems bad.
That would be
It's only
30...
to 0.
34 health. Okay,
So how
what
much-
was that? Sorry, no, what did
Need-
you like? I was still trying to work out my health, sorry.
You need to make an intelligence check.
Oh, yay, one of my lower stats. Haha, nat 20.
Oh,
20. Okay.
Oh, damn.
Oh, fuck.
You are grappled, but you are not stunned.
He'd try and impregnate your brain.
And then, his second action,
Fuck.
I would like you to please make a strength check.
oh no.
Oh, this might be okay. Saving, is it it's a strength
It's just
check?
a strength. It's a strength saving throw,
Saving
actually.
throw- Oh, thank
Yeah.
Christ. I
This
have
might be the
proficiency in
brain
that.
one.
That doesn't really help though. That's 13.
13. Unfortunately, you cannot escape the grapple.
Shit.
You feel terribly uncomfortable and ill as the Mind Flayer opens his wide mouth and begins to clasp it around the top of your head.
No.
Oh, no. I'm so sorry.
It's my. Ah!
54 points of
Oh
damage.
my
and
god.
Then with a loud pop, you all see Milo's head burst open.
Sand check.
See his brain be absorbed into the Mind Flayer's mouth.
Oh
Then
my
with a
god.
No
sickening,
revivify for this, is there?
no, with a sickening,
Fuck.
he's dead.
He's dead, Jim.
Resurrected. Then with
Oh, I
a
can't be doing
sickening squelch consumes his brain, chewing furiously. Then with one of its mouth tentacles,
No.
lips what passes for its lips.
Oh, shit.
My god.
I'm out of dimension balls, bros.
Okay, Nagel.
Why did it take Milo?
Okay, first things first. I would like to just
Fuck. Sorry, I just needed to get that out there.
get in range. So just near the door,
Near the door.
the open door.
You throw a javelin at him.
Well, before I do that, I'm gonna get Cujo to sick him.
Oh, good choice, yes. Cujo barks, rushes forwards, darting at the Mind Flayer. The Mind Flayer darts back and forth, trying to catch him. It clearly is in the mood for some doggy brain.
Okay. For my last two, I would like to cast produce flame on a javelin.
Get a small fireball in your hand and touch it into the javelin. Javelin, now alight. What will you do?
I would like to yeet it into the Mind Flayer's face.
Very well. Right, roll to hit, please.
My
I'm
brain
sorry.
is in there. Be respectful.
I'm sorry, Milo.
That
Oh, no.
17 plus. That's 24.
It's a hit. Roll for damage and add 1d6 fire damage.
I didn't even get to use my fucking Slayer's Spray. God damn it.
God.
So
damn.
2d6.
I was saving that.
6,
Yeah,
7, 8.
Shit. Well, we all knew someone was gonna die from this. We just didn't think it was.
I'm just
that's
happy I
14.
suggested me and not you.
Yeah, no, I'm really glad I avoided that because that would have probably. Well, it wouldn't have killed. Actually, how much damage did you take first up?
Yeah, he took
Took 17 damage first up, and then
Actually,
54.
I would have actually survived that.
So yeah, that's 14 damage.
10 points of damage. Hurl the flaming javelin at the Mind Flayer, and you hit it in the chest, bouncing off its breastplate. The flames singe it, and it roars in pain and anger.
Take
Okay,
that, you bastard!
Have one extra attack. Would you like to
Oh, I
throw
do too.
another javelin?
Yes, I would. Come on, let me see that Kraken. That is a 21.
It's a hit. Roll for damage.
And with the another d6 for the fire damage.
No, because it's javelins. Actually, you go ahead. Yep, we'll say all your javelins are aflame for this round.
Okay. That is 5 plus 5 plus 11, 16.
Good hit. Oh, another flaming javelin. It roars and it hits him just below his neck, bouncing off. You see some of his flesh begin to boil under the flame, and he shrieks even louder at you. Okay, Kitty, your turn.
I want to pop up and sneak attack with an arrow.
Right.
tell me
First,
the
I'd like you to. First, I'd like you to make an acrobatics check, please, to climb up.
That's with advantage, yeah?
Yes, it is.
So that's 2 d20s. So, what's my acrobatics? Plus 7. So 15 plus 7.
Manage to scale the wall, deft leap, and you knock your bow. Roll to hit, please.
No, down you go. No, down you go.
Ooh, I nearly did plus 77. Fuck off!
That's fine. Oh dear.
At least you're not dead.
Give it a minute.
Yeah. Am I just hiding again?
You're firing an arrow. Roll to hit.
I already did. I got
What did you get?
8.
Oh no.
Oh, yep. Right, you may roll stealth again, but you must roll with disadvantage now because the Mind Flayer is aware of your presence.
So 23.
3. Yep, you're able to hide.
No, disadvantage.
Please don't see me, please don't see me, please don't see me, please don't see me.
Okay, Dan Cooper, you're up.
Yeah, if there's anything ridiculous you'd like to throw at the
Hellfire!
guy, now would be the time. Anything severe.
You could use Hellish Rebuke on it because it has actually hurt him.
Please do.
I have not used that for a very, very long time.
Please use.
What is it?
Yeah, because most of the time Dale's
Save.
controlling your character.
So what would you like to do, M1? Sorry?
Out of curiosity, would if I did Thunder Wave,
The
Right,
wave,
right.
it would possibly hit
does
Kitty,
that
but
take damage me?
it won't get any extra damage from it, but at the very least it won't hit everyone, it just might hit
I'm just
Kitty.
setting up my dex save already.
Can I be resurrected?
He can be resurrected after
Oh,
this.
Yeah.
God.
What would M1 like to do?
Don't worry about hitting me.
Internet.
Yeah, we're already resurrecting one person. Let's make it a group deal.
Like to use Thunderwave M1. Lightning Bolt.
Yep.
He's gonna come back, hang on.
We'll be right back.
I will be right back. Sorry, technical difficulties, guys.
Cat?
Would you like to cast
Yeah.
Lightning Bolt? M1. Yep, he is. Alright, let me bring it up.
Honestly, let's just go for whatever's the strongest. Let's just cast that.
Yeah.
That's
I
the strongest spell you got.
honestly, I would probably say maybe considering Kitty is like.
Don't worry
Alright.
about me. If I dodge it, I don't take any damage.
So,
Oh.
Kitty, I would like you to make a dex save, please. Which you actually. No, you fail, unfortunately.
I'm only
Alright.
taking half.
Roll for the Mind Flayer. And he, what is his dex? He also fails. Okay, M1.
That's the main thing.
Looks like you're rolling 8 d6s.
Oh no!
Ooh.
I packed band-aids, guys. Do not worry. Just relax. I packed band-aids.
It's alright.
I don't think it really matters since electrocution does not require band-aids.
Yeah, I'll roll the 8. I'll roll the 8 d6s for him. 6.
Fuck off, dice gods.
30 points of damage. Good hit. And
Not
15
bad.
for
So I
Kitty.
take 15, that's fine.
Kitty, your
Oh,
stealth
sorry,
is
Kitty.
now broken.
Yeah. That's a problem. But
Your stealth is broken, but you've only taken 15. And electricity surges forth from Dan's fingertips, striking the Mind Flayer and surging through its body.
and Dan goes,
Angus-
"Oh, I didn't see you there."
Yes. He literally didn't. You were stealthed. Angus, you're up.
Shit, the door in front of me is still barred, so I can't get in that way.
Is it?
No. Yeah, it is still barred. You'll have to force it
Shit.
open.
Oh. Okay, then you moved me in front of the wrong door then, because I was attacking the Mind Flayer through that door.
But yeah, no, I assumed you were throwing the javelin through the bars.
Oh, it's bards. Okay, bars. Okay.
Yeah, like
what
a
I need
jail
to do-
cell.
Yep. Okay. Getcha.
What would I need to do to try and
you
force
need
this
to-
open?
Need to make an athletics check, please.
Could he do that with advantage? Because he's
if
next
you
to
want
me.
to help him, yep, alright,
Yeah.
you can do it with advantage.
Well, either way, I rolled a 19 first, so...
Well, never
grab
mind.
the bars, and you and Nargle grab the bars, and with a grunt of exertion, you force them open, bending them and letting you move through.
Yes, Noggle.
Both of you through. Okay, Angus, what would you like to do now?
What else can I do on my turn now?
A Shield of Faith. Bonus
Yeah,
action, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's a bonus action. Either give it to myself or someone else.
Wait, what are you doing?
You know what, Noggle? I was gonna say you're next up, aren't you, Noggle? After the Mind Flayer's done.
Yes, he
Yes.
is.
How'd you like? You can just pat him on the back and go, "Yeah, you might need this."
Give it to
Shield
someone
of
who might get
faith.
attacked.
You give me the extra AC.
Well, unless anyone else wants it. I
Oh,
don't know.
no. I'll gladly take that.
Take
AC.
it. Alright,
What does it
Shield
give?
of Faith.
That gives me an extra 2 AC.
Okay.
So I'm at 22.
You could give it
22.
to me and give me 18.
Yeah, might give her a fighting chance against the Mind Flayer attempting to grapple her.
That is true. What the hell is that damn thing?
Well, after when my turn comes up, I plan on running up and bashing its head in.
Yeah, but I'm gonna die.
Yeah, she's technically she is up first.
Oh, she is. I thought I was up first.
No,
No,
she,
because the Mind
she's more-
Flayer's gonna get a go. And I
Oh
want
yeah,
to
yeah.
go.
That's right. Yeah.
She's in
Sorry.
more danger.
Yeah,
Might
sorry.
I actually, if it's okay, I might give it to her.
Yeah,
but it's
go
not-
ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll give it to Kitty.
While you're doing all this, I'm just staring at the dice that killed me.
Why?
Nice.
Technically, where do you even go when you die? Because you don't even go into like the necklace.
My
thing.
mind's still in the amulet unless I decide to move on.
Yeah. Yeah, his mind's in the amulet.
Fair enough. It's
I'm
just kind of
contemplating
nice.
rolling another
No,
character. I'm
where's
not
his
sure.
mind? A bit of it's over there. Some's over there.
No, I believe it's currently working its way through the digestive tract. So
Right, so, yep, Kitty gets the +2 AC, and it is the Mind Flayer's turn.
Oh, don't forget it rolls with disadvantage as well.
Does.
Good old Cujo.
First of all, because Cujo, he rolls a disadvantage. He moves up behind Reaver and lashes out with his tentacles.
Daddy Cthulhu.
And what's your AC? That will give you
18.
AC of 18. And he hits you because he just rolled 18.
Oh no!
Okay, you're taking, first of all, taking 12 points of psychic damage, and you must now make an intelligence save.
That's all right. That I can deal with. All right, so. Huh.
Ooh, yep, but not stunned. However, you are grappled as he wraps his tentacles around you. I would like you to make a strength save, please.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
Oh no!
Oh, Kitty's dead.
Roll a 20, you'll be fine.
Kitty's dead.
Everyone around you is dying.
Damn it!
We really should have taken.
Well,
Breaks free of the grapple, and he is unable. And just as he's about to clasp his mouth around your head, struggle and pull the
Jesus
tentacles
Christ.
off your body, ducking out of the way.
well done.
Well played. Well played indeed.
I needed that because my strength check is -1.
Oh. It's -1.
As a reaction, decides to blast a lightning bolt at Nargle and Angus.
Oh no!
Not again!
I'd like you to make dex saves, please.
God damn it,
no.
Bobby!
14.
That's a 20.
Alright, so
I
it's pass
hate
for
lightning
Nargle, fail for
bolts.
Angus.
I rolled a 14. It's not enough.
Alright,
Even
and
though I
he...
died, I am loving this fight.
I hate this fucking spell so much.
He's casting it at 5th level.
Oh no! No!
That's D6s.
Oh, please all be ones.
Fuck.
Alright, Angus, that's 43 points of damage. Nargle, that's 21 points of damage.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down. I only had 16.
Alright, make a
Jesus.
death save, please.
This thing's gonna kill us.
That's a 17.
At least you get to make
17,
a dex
that's a
save.
pass. Okay, now it's Nargle's actual turn, so you make another death save.
This is insane.
That is another 17.
Do
Okay,
it yourself.
So, yep, you are one turn away from stabilizing. Okay, Milo is dead. Kitty, you're up.
Hey, it's a good thing you gave the AC to Kitty.
Oh my god.
Yeah. God damn.
This is.
I don't even know what to do.
Just hit the
We were
damn
not
thing.
prepared for this.
Wait, throw up Hellish Rebuke and show me what it does again.
I'll bring up Hellish Rebuke.
We were not prepared for this.
Stop eating my chair.
I was prepared for a beholder.
Here we go. There's Hellish Rebuke. It will deal. The creature must make a dex saving throw, and it takes 3d10 if it fails, because it casts at 2nd level as your racial ability.
Alright. Oh my god. What should they?
Please.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. No.
What-
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Please fail the fuck out of this so it dies horribly. This is insanity.
All right.
Fucking hell.
Right, so are you going to do that, Kitty?
Yep. Yep.
Right, I'll make him do a dex save.
Good
He
Lord.
failed.
Oh, yes.
Right, roll your
God. Burn
Or your
this thing to a fucking
3d10s.
3d10s. Oh my god.
3d10s.
Please all be.
Please all be
10s.
10s, yes.
Watch 'em all be
Eight or
twos.
higher across the board.
Okay.
This thing needs to hurt.
Do I add any modifiers or anything?
Nope.
Just the damage.
Thankfully, you're hitting it.
25.
That'll
Hit.
work.
That
Flame
will...
surges out of your hands, lashing at the Mind Flayer. He recoils back, shrieking in pain. Okay, Dan Cooper.
I'm gonna
you are
hide.
up. Make a stealth check with disadvantage, please.
How is this
Who's
thing
that?
looking? Please tell me it's in
Yeah.
ridiculously shit shape.
Yeah, it is looking very, very bad now.
Oh, thank God.
Right, are you hide, Kitty? Yes,
yeah,
you are hidden.
Of course I do,
Right.
because I have +10.
Right, Dan Cooper, what would you like to do? Would you like to do what Kitty just did and hellish rebuke it?
Really just jump in the stream and let's hope my internet doesn't fit out. Oh, yes.
All right, I will roll the deck save for him.
Come on. Revenge! Fuck.
Passes, but you still get to roll 3 tens. Roll for him.
Come on, let's do it.
Okay,
Oh,
Dan Cooper, you get to roll 3d10s.
are we doing hellish rebuke?
Yep, 3d10.
Hellish rebuke.
Yeah.
3d10,
Thank
but
you
I'm going
for-
to take half, but still.
He passed the save, but he still takes 8 points. And the flames lash his body. He rises above the ground. He
My
raises his
beautiful
hand.
body.
And he roars. And then he begins to shake, and his body wavers. And smoke begins to billow as he bursts into flame.
Oh, good lord, yes.
Falls to the ground.
It's dead?
Burning. It's
Okay,
dead.
I am going to secure that fucking iron flask right now.
Combat is over. With this,
I will.
Angus pushes forwards past the lifeless body of Milo up to the
We'll take
to where the dead
stuff.
mind flayer is and grabs the iron flask, immediately holding it up Zelda style.
Does someone want to help me?
Just get a Scottish version, which is just.
That is the
Loot
end
time!
of combat.
Does someone want to wake me up? For the love of God.
That's like second.
One
priority.
wanna-
Come back now.
Someone might want to stabilize Nargle.
Got it.
Doing
Stabilizing.
Looking for loot.
Can I go to Marlo's body?
Right, I'm
No,
going.
Don't you dare take anything of mine.
I was gonna say no. We're putting his stuff in the bag of holding so we can resurrect him. And I cast Spare the Dying on Liam
Nargle.
which you touch a living creature that has 0 hit points, the creature becomes stable, so he's okay.
So he's okay. And with that, combat is over. The room is suddenly
Finally.
eerily silent.
Fuck me!
My God.
Wow! Oh damn!
So
Look
now
around.
now
I
this
hate
is the
lightning bolts.
second time that Marlo's died.
Yep. And this time, it wasn't the party's fault.
Hey,
Yes.
it wasn't the party's fault last time. You asked for it.
I know, but thankfully the party killed me.
No.
You asked to be stabbed through the heart with a
Yeah.
lance.
This is the first time you have died. Last time was assisted suicide. Don't get muddled.
I still died.
Yeah, but of your own.
Assisted suicide is death.
Can I
Now I'm-
take Marlo's body?
Yeah, I want to look at stuff.
We're putting
Okay.
we're putting Milo's stuff in like a bag of holding so we can take it back with us.
I would
Yes.
like Dan Cooper and Kitty to both do investigate checks, please.
I'm just gonna start loading Milo's stuff before anyone else decides to do anything.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm just bleeding from every orifice at the moment.
Hey, you're not dead,
you've
you're
been
still-
stabilized.
Dan,
Yeah, stabilized, but I'm still
you
bleeding.
still
Do you have cure
roll
wounds?
for Dan
Nice.
Cooper, and Dan Cooper also fails his investigate
Can I look
check.
for
There
anything?
doesn't. Can roll investigate if you wish.
May I roll for it if everyone fails?
Soul's departure. Now
I rolled a 9.
No, you don't see
Your
anything of
intelligence
use in this
modifier.
room.
May I roll?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say what's left of nothing.
That is, it's plus intelligence modifier, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, so nothing, just 0.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's 13.
13. And you find a box full of skulls.
Ooh.
The desk that the mind flayer was administrating over. I would like you to roll a D100, please.
I like scrolls.
I
was
can.
14, my last one.
Scroll.
Roll for one.
You might find an IKEA catalogue dating back to the 1700s.
Oh, seriously? 6?
It does.
Six.
That's fine. It's a.
Yeah,
it's
not
determining anything good or bad,
It
it's just-
doesn't. Yeah,
It's
not
going
good.
off a table.
Find a scroll of Gaius.
What's that?
Put it in the chat.
Put it in the chat.
Survey
That's-
says.
No.
Place a magical command on a creature that you can see within range, forcing it to carry out some
Yes.
service or refrain from some action or course of activity as you decide.
Yes.
We are not
Creature can
letting the
underst-
bard have this.
No, it's one of my 8th level spells. That I'm trying to
It's one of his actual spells that he can get later, but
God.
I'm
yeah.
doing
This
just
who wants this
to get
scroll?
laid.
Okay,
you want it,
all I
Angus?
heard was
What?
massive robot
Angus
talk.
can't use it.
Hey,
The only ones in the party who can use it are Dan, Reaver, or Bartleby.
I will take that.
I was gonna say you have better use for it than I ever could. Plus, I already got a decent pile of scrolls on my person as it is.
Yes.
I might give it
anyone-
to Bartleby if he ever comes back, but
Yes. If he
I'll
hold
take
on
it.
to it and give it to him when he give it if he comes
Yeah.
back. Kind of an NPC at the moment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Would you like to take anything from the Mind Flayer's corpse?
yes.
What is it? What is have?
I don't know what, but yes.
Its tentacles mainly.
You
Well,
know
that-
what? Can I take its head and present it to the Dwarven Kingdom going, here's the fucking thief?
Yeah. Well, no.
Would that possibly get us Milo
Unaided resurrected for free.
Yeah.
bring the mind
Um,
flayer plus the drow leader as well, just for good measure?
Oh, yeah. No, the drought. Hopefully he's still tied up with my spooters.
I'm
Now,
gonna go
if you
check.
if you present the Mind Flayer head as a trophy, you won't be able to take any tentacles off it. You have to present it intact.
I
That's
do
all.
want its tentacles. So
Too bad.
think carefully.
Why
going.
would we
Let's
want
take
its
a-
tentacles?
You
I've
could
got
make
some-
you could use the paralyzing effect from. What would you like to do, Dan Cooper? Type in the chat because your internet is.
Yeah, you're a massive robot.
Can you hear me
No,
clearly
but
now?
No,
Really?
no, we can't.
Hang on, how about?
Oh, that was clear.
That's
Yeah.
clear.
Is that better?
Okay, so
Okay,
I
this is
suppose
clear.
we help Noggle back up and then go to check to make sure our little friend hasn't.
I'm going to go. I would like to take some tentacles because I think I might have some future use for them. I don't know how just yet, but I sort of
Hey.
want
I,
to
thi- I
Can-
think we should give
can-
it to the king.
Yeah,
But
I'm
is the
gonna-
Take
why-
it to the
I
king
say
and then
we
have
close it
Dan
room.
bullshit his
Yeah.
way into Ben taking the tentacles.
I-
Yeah.
I-
Okay,
You
I
could
wasn't
do
gonna
that.
lie.
I
I wanted
say we
to.
give
I
it to
wanted
the
to make a
king.
party hat.
Oh
I-
God,
I want
no.
the king. That's it. We're giving it to the king.
Yep.
Rastafari
Just roll my
hat.
eyes at Dan and I go over it and I take the head.
Give the gears to Dan. Use the gears from Dan to fucking
No.
leave me alone.
And Cooper, you'll probably be able to convince the king to let you have some of the tentacles once you present the head.
Just bullshit then.
Unless you would like to roll a sleight of hand check,
Oh,
remove
yes.
one of the tentacles.
Would that be against me?
I'm also watching, so you'd have to obviously beat my perception as well.
Yes.
Well,
yes. So he has
is
to
that-
beat
is that-
both Kitty's and you have to beat both Kitty's and M2's perception.
Because we're both watching.
Oh look,
Because, you know-
honestly, it's far easier just bullshitting with the king. All right, that's it. I'll just wait for the king.
Because you'll be able to ask him. He'll you'll be able to convince him for sure. As you head back through the dungeon, you check on your drow prisoner, and he is still
Getting
secured in
teabagged by the
webbing.
spooters.
Oh, actually, could have made it that time.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. So it's done now, Dan Cooper. You'll have to roll again when it's time to bullshit the king.
I believe we'll be telling the king not to give it to him.
Well, you don't know yet.
I will
prisoner is-
take it back.
The prisoner is still secured in the webbing.
Excellent.
Swearing loudly as the spiders crawl over him and bite him repeatedly.
Somebody show him the god. Actually,
Oh my God.
Mount the mind flayer's head on the goddamn spiders.
All right, M1. No, it's not working.
And when
I'll
you're
be right
done.
back. He needs to go out.
Stop it.
Stop.
Someone stop.
Doing anything.
Again, that's why. I'm not doing anything.
Would
Because your voice just completely just breaks into friggin'
Slow motion
yeah.
robot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
sorry, M1 Discord does not like you today.
It goes.
Yeah, as you walk up to the prisoner, Raver grabs the Mind Flayer head and just sits down on the desk next to him. Looks at it, his eyes wide, but doesn't say anything.
Excellent. Well, now that that's taken care of, let's get this lovely little rascal up to the king. I'm sure he'll be very happy to see him.
Yeah.
Would you like to take a long rest before trekking back through the Underdark?
Please.
Is there anything else that's gonna? Fuck it. Might as well bar
This
the
dungeon is safe.
Excellent.
you've
Well, in that
put
case,
everything.
I'm gonna knock the Grail back out, and we'll take a long rest.
You whack him with the butt of your hammer,
Oh no!
And you
no.
bar
I
the
kick him
door.
square in the face.
kick him square in the face, knocking him out again, and then you bar the door. Take a long rest. Okay, you are all fully healed. You have your hit dice back. And anyone who has items to attune to may attune
Fuck
to them now.
yes.
So that's one with his lyre.
Kitty needs
And-
to pick up one of 3 because she has about 3 items
Yeah.
to attune to.
I'm
can only
invisible.
Well.
Where did the
Who's holding my
tiefling go?
Yes.
I just start taking it on and off, and I'm like, now you see me, now you don't. Now you see me, now you don't.
How you doing?
You just sit there and go, is it high, is it low, where the hell did that one go?
Where did you go?
Now I'm on the floor. Now
Is
I'm on
anyone-
the table.
Now I'm on the side punch this guy. Yeah!
Wait, what?
Okay, you have attuned to the ring of invisibility there.
Has anyone actually holding onto my amulet, or is it just in the bag?
Sangus,
Everything's in the
Angus,
bag of holding.
I
Yeah.
grabbed all of your stuff and put it in the
And
bag.
put it in the
I'm
bag.
holding
Oh,
on
you're not
to
actually
it.
holding it. Damn.
No, I-
I was gonna go if he was holding it. I'd just be going, hey,
No, I'm
hey.
still.
You can hear me.
I
You
hold
can hear me.
on to it.
Hey.
Can
I
I
rescue
hear
you. Hey. I'm dead.
Can I hear him?
in fairness, you probably are still saying that. It's just ringing out into an empty void.
Well,
Very
the
much.
amulet. can let me
Is
speak
there
to the person
anybody
holding
in there?
Could I
it. The
check-
amulet,
I was
because
gonna
my
say,
soul
check the
is
am-
trapped, or not
Yeah,
trapped,
in the
but in the amulet.
stuck
I can
in the
talk
amulet.
to whoever's holding the
I
amulet.
was gonna say,
Oh,
could I?
yes.
Could I be
1 second,
holding
sorry.
the amulet check?
Hello?
You can if
I
you want.
have
It was just a funny little
Hey,
thing.
sir.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not actually me saying anything. I was just
Well,
a
at the
No.
funny
moment,
little
you're
thing I was
kinda
gonna
just-
do.
Yeah, you're basically just lying in the bag of holding with the rest of your shit.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. With that, you've had a long rest, and you get
Right
up
back
the
to
next, right back up to full. And the next morning, you get up and you hoists the prisoner his shoulder, and you begin the trek back through the Underdark towards Gauntlgrim. I would like
On the way, you pass Ramstein.
yes, on the way out of the dungeon, you pass Ramstein. He
We'll
has a
just put
sad look on
Milo's
his
body on
face. Sadly goes, man.
I'm going to
Place-
pat the sheep.
Pat Ramstein on the head, and then you place Milo's headless corpse over his back.
Well, I missed.
He
My headless corpse is riding Ramstein.
just slumped over it, and
Just quietly pat Ramstein, apologize to him.
he sadly goes, man. Then
We'll bring him
follows
back.
you through the Underdark.
We'll bring him back.
Okay, Angus, I would actually, Argle has the survival skill, I believe.
Oh my god.
Lead us back. Oh god, we're gonna get lost in here forever.
I just read
Sorry
the
about that phone
ability
call.
that I didn't take.
Hey?
I just read the 7th level ranger spell that I could have
Ye-
taken but didn't. I could have
Oh.
added a 1d6 to my saving throw.
Oh no.
Oh,
Wow,
okay.
I can't imagine how that would have been useful.
Oh,
want
nah,
Nargle
I
to
wouldn't
make
have. I wasn't stairs, bro.
want Nargle to make a survival check, please.
Can do.
Nice.
What's my survival at? Wait, do I have survival? Oh yeah. Oh, it's +5 as well.
I imagine I'm just hopping around
So that
looking for shit and
is-
finding nothing.
Cave.
Hold on, let me do calculation. 8
Can I be like, I don't know,
3. That is
gathering
16.
things I might use for ingredients?
Good idea. I'll get you to do that in a sec.
So that's 16.
Yep. You're pretty sure you find the way back towards Gauntlgrim that you followed to get here. Kitty, I would like you to do a herbalism check, please.
What am I rolling?
Rolling a d20 and adding half of your proficiency.
My proficiency is... Wait, so just my regular proficiency bonus?
Half of it.
Okay,
proficiency-
it's usually 3, so what do I have?
Just add +2 instead.
Okay.
This
That was
portion
sad.
of the Underdark is pretty devoid of life. There's not even a single glowing mushroom or anything like that.
That
And
sounds
you're very,
depressing.
very disappointed as you spend the majority of the day searching for anything until you see the big gates of Gauntlgrim up ahead and realize it was all for nothing.
Aww.
Open.
Reva's sad.
It just leads you all into Gauntlgrim, and you make your way through the empty, deserted part of the city into the slums as peasant and working class dwarves watch you, looking at you, somewhat curious, but also with looks of triumph on their faces. They see Angus proudly holding the iron
I was
flask
gonna say, I'm
above
still
his
a
head.
I'd like to say I'm still a little bummed about obviously Milo dying, because that still sucks.
Yes,
Well,
but
you
you're
said
still
we
holding up the...
Yeah. I was gonna say, can I definitely say we've at least covered Milo's body on the back of Ramstein, so people aren't just looking at a.
I'm sure you
leave my
have.
dripping neck stump just to keep dripping off Ramstein's back.
I just
Then-
don't want to freak out the rest of the local populace.
I wear a
Pass
dark
through-
hood, so I'll just cover him with it.
Pass through the you pass by the great forge. All of the dwarves present look and stare at your entourage as you enter. As some of them see the iron flask, you see them smile and open their mouths as if they're about to cheer. But then some of them notice the shrouded form of Milo on the back of Ramstein and immediately subdue themselves.
Sad goat noises.
Respect.
Atmosphere of sad triumph follows you as you make your way through the city, through the main square, through the marketplace, and walk towards the king's palace. Enter the palace, and everyone in the waiting room in the lobby grows quiet as you enter. Their voices hushed in awe and maybe a bit of solemn despair as well. The shy-looking receptionist steps forward and she sees Dan Cooper and she blushes and raises her hand to wave. And Cooper, do you stare back at her or do anything? And Cooper turns towards her and he raises his hand to wave back. Then one of the guards in the background quietly shakes his head and looks at him, and then she ushers even more and lowers her hand and then mouths maybe later to Dan Cooper as all in the waiting room grow quiet. We're let through into the spiral staircase that leads up to the king's chamber. And making sure not to drop the iron flask, you slowly make your way up, and up, and up. Will
Can we
you
make sure that
once-
we're dragging that idiot, or that we captured's head just on each step as we go up?
Oh yeah, that's
Are
what I'm
you-
doing. Because I'm assuming I'm holding him.
Yeah, you're just dragging him at this point.
Squelch.
It's just thunk, ow, thunk,
all,
thunk.
Oh, that guy.
all is quiet save for your footsteps moving up the stairs, the occasional sad from Ramstein, and the drow grunting in pain as his head dangles and hits the stairs. After a few minutes, you emerge in the king's chamber, the long marble and stone corridor flanked with red carpet. At the end of it, you see the throne. Behind the throne, the balcony that overlooks the city. The king is not in the throne. Instead, he is standing with his back turned to you, looking down at the city below, his arms folded as he leans forward on the railing of the balcony. What do you do?
I throw the drow on the ground in front of him.
Walk up. Do you push the king off?
I
This is
swear
how
to
you
God,
could.
just that.
No, I'm not pushing the king off. I'm throwing the drow in front of him.
Yes. Walk up, and you could claim the throne for yourself.
No.
I mean, it's a claim.
Oh my god, yes! I approached the throne.
No, you don't.
Don't, boy.
No,
Walk
I've had my
forward.
fun. I've had my fun.
Walk forward, and as your footsteps grow closer, the king turns around, his face solemn, his lines drawn across his face with worry. Nargle steps forward and pulls the drow off his shoulder and tosses the pathetic wretch onto the floor. Bruno looks at him. He looks up, and in Dwarven, simply says, "And this would be the culprit, then."
Yes, we've got him, and we've got the oh crap, what's the name of the thing again?
Mind Flayer.
Charge.
Yeah, we've got the charge, and we've got a little bonus too. I just point to Reaver.
With the Mind Flayer head.
We're not starting Reaver, are we?
Eva takes the Mind Flayer head and just places it carefully on the floor next to the pathetic wretch of the drow.
Oh, be back in a sec.
Yep.
King smiles, and in Dwarven he says, "Worthy job. But
Hey.
the most important question remains. You have fire primordial." You show him the fire primordial.
Yep, I was gonna say it's in the fucking flask, obviously. Yeah, I hand that over. For half a second there, I was thinking, oh fuck, it's still in the bottle, right? Please tell me it's still in the bottle.
Still in the bottle. Hand
Okay,
him
yes.
Hand him the iron flask. He takes it and nods, and then he calls to one of the guards in Dwarven. The guard comes over and he hands him the iron flask and says, "Be sure that Megara is returned to the forge soon as possible. Post haste!" Claps his hand. Dwarf nods. "Yes, sire." And with the iron flask in his hands, leaves the throne room. This the king sighs, and then in common simply says, "I've noticed your number is one less. You have my condolences."
We fought with all his heart, but thankfully what has been lost can be restored.
Says he smiles, and he smiles a sad smile, and he says, "Your friend died in service to the Dwarven Kingdom, so deposit his body once we are done here, and we'll make sure that Moradin does him a kind service."
Well, it kills him again. He's already dead.
Wait. You have my
Then,
thing.
say in common or Dwarven.
Dwarven.
He has proved himself in battle. He has my respect.
King nods, and then he says, yes. And speaking of proving themselves in battle, Angus, you step forward, please.
I do so.
Says, "I'd like you to kneel in front of the drow and the head of the quarry that you brought back."
I bend the knee.
He looks down at you, and then he walks over to the throne, and behind it there is a stone trunk. He opens up the trunk and begins to rifle through it, withdrawing a large, ornately carved hammer that you immediately recognize as the dwarven thrower. It's almost exactly the same as the one you found in the crypt. Carries it over to you, and then carefully touches the top of your head, the tip of the hammer's head. He says,
Just the tip.
You have saved Gauntlgrim, you have saved our mythical forge and restored the fire primordial that lights and heats our kingdom. Says, and so I feel it fitting that you perhaps be inducted into the Hammers of Moradin. Angus, you are well aware of what the Hammers of Moradin are. It is an elite order of clerics and paladins who serve Moradin and answer his calling to defend dwarven kind. Basically the dwarven equivalent of a knight.
I am truly honored, my king.
Says,
He tripped up here.
Oh, poor him too.
with his hand, he beckons with his hand and he says, rise. Rise.
I
Then says, hold out your hand.
Yep. I do so.
He places the dwarven thrower into your open hand. And he says, henceforth, you are Sir Angus Hammerfall of the Hammers of Moradin. Have done service, and history of the dwarves shall remember you. Then turns towards Nargle and he says, but young Nargle, not think that you have been forgotten. Says, Nargle, please step forward.
Yeah. Step forward.
Says, Nargle, I would like you to kneel beside the drow, please.
Alright, am I gonna have to, like, pretty much crouch to get to his level?
Yeah. Like, not just kneel, you basically, like, lie down prone. Reach your head.
Prostrate yourself to your king.
King reaches for his belt and with a shing, he pulls out a large sword, walks forward, and he touches your head with the foot of the blade. And he says, and Nargle, for your service, I hereby declare you a squire of Moradin. As he pronounces you a squire of Moradin, he notices your axe on your back, and then he frowns and he says, see, your axe has taken a little bit of battle damage.
Yes, it has, my kin.
Says, very well.
Didn't throw it in a lake at all.
Says, very well. If you will give that axe to me for a moment. Reaches over and slowly lifts the axe off your back. Pulls over one of his retainers. In Dwarven, he says, take this axe to the forge post-haste. Have it repaired. Must be footed by myself out of my own pocket. Guard
Thank you, my
nods,
liege.
carries the axe away. You can't help tearing up a little bit as your precious axe is taken away
My
from you.
baby boy!
You know it's in good hands.
So I'm a squire
King.
now, am I? Do we put these their titles on our sheet?
You could put it on your sheet if you like.
Oh, you know I am.
I'm not sure how I like Squire Nargle.
Huh.
You don't have to if you don't want to. I'm certainly sure as hell putting Sir Angus Hammerfall on mine, because damn!
Technically, your title could be Nargle, Squire of Moradin. It doesn't have to be Squire.
It doesn't have to be Squire Nargle, it can
Yeah.
just be Nargle, Squire of Moradin. Brunor then smiles at Ann Cooper and Reaver, and then he says, and you two may consider yourselves friends of the dwarves. You'll be welcome in this city any time.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Says he looks at Dan Cooper, and he sees Dan Cooper eyeing the tentacles on the Mind Flayer's head. And he says, I see, if I'm not mistaken, you didn't have a chance to claim a trophy for yourself.
Yes, I want the head.
You just wanted a tentacle, damn it.
Nope.
No,
And
I
Cooper, you
think
you
so.
immediately transform your robe into the most regal form you can muster. Make a persuade check with advantage, please.
Oh,
Well,
crap.
shit, he's
There
getting
it
that
is.
fucking head.
Yep.
I just gonna wear the head, not gonna lie. I'm gonna pay a leather man to make me a
I
head out of
honestly hope its blood is poisonous.
Yep.
The
Oh,
team,
well.
Bruno reaches down and he lifts up the Mind Flayer head. And then, putting his sword away, he reaches into his kingly robe and pulls out a small silver dagger. And then in front of you, as you watch, he carefully removes a number of tentacles. And Cooper, you gain 1d6 tentacle.
Beautiful.
Roll for you. Yep, okay, well you rolled 6, so you get 6 tentacles.
Oh, thank.
How about you make a nice beard out of the tentacles?
He hands the tentacles to you with a smile. Then holding the head, he says, I think it still has enough tentacles to look imposing, don't you think? Only has 2
Why,
left.
yes, it does. Only has 2 left.
May I make a
He
suggestion?
has the Fu Manchu.
Nice mustache looking sort of thing.
Says we shall display this later today when we shall display this tonight when we hold a feast in honor of your party and in honor of Angus and Nargle, squire of Moradin. Then once we have displayed this trophy and rendered punishment to the wretched thing before us here, he nods his head at the drow, then you may take this trophy and use it for your own purposes. His hands, and in common he says, now, make merry and get some rest. Night, town square for the feast. Don't be late. Looks at Angus in Dwarven. He says, being late would be a very unknightly thing.
Right back in Dwarven, just go, of course, my king. Wouldn't miss it for the world.
Right.
Let's go to the temple.
I have a goddamn throwing hammer. Yeah.
You have a legitimate throwing
I
hammer.
got this one.
Are you going to take Milo to the temple now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Best we do.
Right.
I'm rushing ahead to go see my friends.
Your friends?
Here, just
Bid
kick the
fair-
door and go, hey buddy, I'm back. By the way, one of our guys died again. Hey man.
Bid farewell to the king and out of the palace. And Cooper, as you pass through the lobby, the smitten receptionist winks at you once again. And then she mouths, let's catch up during the feast.
Well, damn. Go Dan.
Step into the temple of Moradin and slowly escort Ramstein down the row between the pews. The old cleric is there. He's currently looking through some holy texts, and he looks up as he hears the clop.
I
of
go, hi, Bodhi.
Einstein. Smiles and he says, my pupil has returned. Says, well, I was planning to resume our studies tonight, but I've heard the king is throwing a feast of some kind.
I did hear correct.
Says, and you be Sir Angus Hammerfall, if my ears did not deceive me.
Oh,
I'm
you
patting
heard
the
correct.
bird.
I was gonna say, but before we make way with any festivities, we have some other business to bring back a fallen comrade, as it were.
Surveys the shrouded form of Ramstein, and he says, "Aye," he says, "from what I hear, your friend died well. And the dwarves do not forget those who die well defending them."
Aye, I made any dwarf proud that day.
He says, "Very well then. Come, we shall all pray to Moradin together." Carefully lifts Milo's corpse off Ramstein and places it on the ground in front of the altar to Moradin.
Oh, the gift didn't post.
Doesn't remove the shroud, and then he kneels in front of it. Looks at Angus, bidding him to also kneel.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone else join in?
Me.
Yes.
Well, I was going to say Nuggle, I believe, is joining in. Aren't you, Nuggle?
Yes.
Good answer.
Everyone, even Dan Cooper, kneels in service to their fallen friend, and even though Dan Cooper, Reaver, and Nargle don't lead the prayer, they follow along as Angus and the cleric do. Angus, I would like you to make a religion check, please.
That's 18.
You start the prayer. "Oh, Moradin, father of the dwarves, forger of the dwarves, we pray to you."
I'd like to do my own little draconic prayer. I get knocked down, but I get up again.
God.
Never gonna keep me down.
Really?
Sorry.
Then, after you spend the most part of an hour conducting a service for the fallen, places his hand on Milo's chest. Shrouded body begins to glow, and you see light. You see a blinding light spilling forth from underneath the cloth. Milo, not of any afterlife experience. Your entire time, you just envision yourself calling out into a vast void, the bag of holding.
1 second, sorry. How'd you go? Thank you.
I'm gonna wait for Nuggle to come back before I say anything.
Thank you.
That's why I want to wait.
He's not gonna wait to open that package.
No, he's not.
Well,
He never
then
waits.
he can watch his own stream.
Yeah.
Hey, well, by the bloody 7 hills! Have you ever tried regrowing a head? Regrowing your heart's one thing, but regrowing your fucking head, that was an experience.
If I find any others, I will.
Fucking hell.
let you know.
I guess I must say thank you for bringing me back. Fucking hell, growing a head, now that's fucking painful.
Good to have you back, pal.
Cleric smiles and he says, "And Moradin has repaid you for your service."
And I think Moradin.
I've got package.
Yeah, we know.
Ah, yes.
I suppose we can wait till after the stream to open
Course
it now.
not.
And then
You're already opening it.
I am. It's all my sabaton stuff. Yay.
as Angus, out of force of habit, reaches for his coin purse to leave a donation, the cleric holds up his hand and he says, "Nay, Sir Hammerfall, this paid for by Moradin himself."
Oh, now I feel truly blessed.
It's not every day a god aids you on the return to living, my friend. Wear that with pride.
Hey,
Looks at
I've got a
Milo.
newfound respect for the gods. Let me tell you.
He looks at Milo and he smiles ruefully and he says, "As you have seen, Moradin's afterlife is great paradise, but it's not your time yet." Do you tell him that you indeed didn't actually go to an afterlife?
I can't lie to a priest.
Well, you could.
Yeah, just hold up the amulet and went, yeah, well, maybe next time.
Yeah, I hold up my amulet and I go, the afterlight has to wait for me, mate. I got some very special business before I can head on.
He smiles once again, a toothy smile, and then he bursts into laughter. He claps Milo on the shoulder and he says, "Oh, Moradin's taken a liking to you, laddie. That he has."
Okay, I'll be right back. Dog wants to come back in. Sorry.
And then we shall attend the feast.
Yay, feast!
Find appropriate music. Anything you would like to do in the couple of hours before it's time for the feast?
Not that
Change into some more my usual priest robes without my armor for 5 minutes.
On the earthy brown robes of Moradin with the ceremonial breastplate underneath that has a symbol of Moradin carved into it, and you dwarven on your back, but on your belt you carry a forging hammer, the symbol of Moradin.
Aye.
Oh, no, sorry.
I've got nothing to wear, so I guess I'll just wear my
What I
armor.
miss?
They're getting ready for the feast. Is there anything you, Killer, would like to do?
I clean off as much of the gore as I can from my armor and make myself look presentable, I guess.
But what would you like to get to the celebratory feast? What would you like to?
Sorry?
Dan Cooper.
Oh.
Yeah, then I'll ask Kitty.
Well, Kitty was first. Let her go first.
All right, Kitty. Well, what would you like to do before the feast? Would you like to get ready on your finest clothing? Would you like to go out and attempt to contact like-minded people for a quick bout of employment during the downtime? Or would you like to perhaps have a quick herbalism lesson?
I'm gonna hug the bird, and I should probably get ready for this feast.
What are you going to wear for the feast?
Well, I've got a disguise kit. I'll pretty something up.
I would like you to roll a disguise kit check, please.
23.
23. Okay.
Oh, got a nat 20. Nice.
Nice.
You head into the back room and you spend a couple hours putting yourself up for the feast. You're not the type of tiefling girl who wears makeup, but still have makeup on you, and you tend that you're going to a royal ball or something of the like. You
I'm
put on.
I'm just imagining like a Disney type thing with the temple bird helping me.
Oh my god.
You don't wear dresses normally because they interfere with your acrobatics, but you put on a nice shimmering dress. You do up your hair into a bun so it's not all just hanging loose over your face, and put on makeup so that you're wearing glittering eyeshadow, and your face, rather than looking the normal red hue of a tiefling, looks sort of more pale than usual, with glowing cheeks and sparkling lips and eyeshadow.
Or just sparkle, sparkle.
Dan Cooper, what would you like to do? Like to wear to the feast? How are you going to gussy up your cloak?
Seeing as Dan Cooper hasn't had a shower in a long time, and I can just change from one cloak to another with the same cloak, maybe have a shower.
maybe bathe first. So you leave the temple and you head into town and you spend about an hour in the public baths, cleaning your stuff, washing all the muck and grime over the accumulated last years. You leave a copper piece in the into baths, and
then I take 3 copper pieces instead.
Yes, you put one gold piece into the tray and then take 3 with you as you leave. And how do you do up your cloak?
Well, you know what? I don't want to be too fancy, so I'm thinking just all gold.
I guess that's
This-
not that fancy in where the fuck we are.
Ow.
And
Is
I'd like
Gaunt
to
a
turn
Grim?
the tentacles into
Gaunt a
little
Grim.
trinkets to
Looks like
hang
a
off the
girdle
top of
Grim.
my horns.
Just stick your
I-
horns
yeah,
inside a tentacle.
I'm going to stick the tentacles on my
No.
horns to make my horns look much longer.
No.
I
Wait,
would
hang on,
like,
Do they have like a little safe distance before they become paralysis on me?
as long as you don't touch the tip of them.
But I'm gonna be dancing and shaking my my head around.
You could wrap something on the tips.
Be taller than
I was
everyone
gonna say,
else.
Bit of
well, to be fair,
on
does he
them.
actually know how they work? He could just put them on thinking it looks nice and not actually know how it works.
He's seen them. He's seen them attempt to He's seen them what they did to Milo. So
Yeah.
it's dangerous.
He got front row seats. He probably got splattered with my brain matter.
Actually, I want to buy one of those tentacles.
Okay, Dan Cooper, Kitty wants to buy one.
Oh,
Would
you
you
want to make you want to make a poison out of it?
A poison?
Well, I'll just give it to you for free.
Okay.
Right, so here you have 5 tentacles, and she has a tentacle. And
Yeah.
I would like you to do a sleight of hand check, please.
Because I want to steal it back from.
Oh no, so that you can successfully secure the tentacles to make a head ornament out of them.
Roll a what?
20 add your I think you got proficiency in sleight of hand.
Does he want me to do it if he doesn't?
He got enough. Got
All
6. Cover the tips of the tentacles in pieces of cloth so that they can't sting you, and then you sort of braid them together, creating a makeshift crown. You wrap around your horns, then jiggle your head in the mirror and watch as the tentacles move. Confuses you.
La 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 la.
And after spending a few hours getting ready, you all meet in front of the temple and head towards the town square for the feast. Leave the tentacle, all of you looking pretty much unrecognizable. Even with Milo and Nargle just heading to the public baths and washing the grime and blood off has made a big change. You're surprised. Didn't realize you'd accumulated so much over the past few months.
I was going to get dressed up, but apparently there's not enough time now.
Yeah, you can. What would you like to get dressed in, Nargle?
I would actually like to go to the markets and see if there's any really fine fur.
Right, Nargle, I'd like you to make a charisma check, please.
While he's doing that, do I still have my
What's
uniform from the army?
Yes, you do.
Can I actually go in that? I'll go in my formal uniform.
Military gown.
That's
Yeah.
not 19.
Okay, Nargle, in the market square, notice that most of the sellers are shutting up shop early today so that they could attend the feast, but there's still a couple around, including a half-elf hunter who has brought his caravan to Gauntlgrim to hawk his wares. He has a wide variety of furs taken from many different animals. Kind of animal fur are you looking for?
You know what? Has he got any alpha male direwolf fur?
He pats a large pelt hanging from the side of his caravan, and he says, this one would be the dire wolf. Not sure if he'd be alpha male, but he'd be a big bugger.
He'd definitely be a big bugger. Yes. Just need some really good fur to wear tonight, as me and my party are the guest of honors of tonight's feast.
Says, yes, indeed, I'm planning to attend myself. I was just about to close up shop when you arrived. Let's see, let's make this quick then. Says, how would you feel? How does 10 gold sound to you?
Sounds more than reasonable, my good man.
hand over the 10 gold, and the half-elf smiles as he bundles up the direwolf fur and places it, drapes it over your shoulder, and immediately sets to work, busying himself packing up his shop. Nods and he says, "And you have a good night tonight, you hear?"
Thank you. I will see you at the feast. I will make sure everyone knows where I got the pelt from.
Says, much appreciated, friend.
He's a very noble barbarian.
No.
Noble barbarians are just mindless dopes. He does have some sense. We did make sure we taught him that much.
Yep.
And then you finally assemble in front of the temple. Angus, clad in his traditional cleric of Moradin robes and armor, forging hammer displayed prominently on his belt, but the ensemble is completed by his brand new dwarven thrower displayed on his back.
Yep.
Meet Milo, who has had all of the grime and gore cleaned off his body after an hour at the baths and is clad in his Lord's Alliance officer's uniform. Perhaps not the finest of formal attire, but certainly eye-catching and certainly dignified.
Definitely the most most fancy that I have.
That Milo owns, yes. You see, Nargle, his scales shining after a thorough cleaning at the baths and his body covered by an exquisite and frankly terrifying dire wolf pelt. See, Reaver, looking completely unrecognizable, her face filled with glittering makeup, her usual thieves leather replaced with a flowing blue dress and her hair worn up in a bun. Small tiara placed in front of it. Finally, you see Dan Cooper. Dan Cooper, perhaps, is the most striking of all, as he appears to be wearing some sort of strange head ornament, a sort of old blue crown of sorts, and it's only when he gets closer to you and nods at you in greeting that the tentacles on the crown begin to jiggle, and you realize that he's wearing the Mind Flayer's tentacle.
I'm in a very good mood, so I'm just going to close my eyes, take a deep breath, and go, okay, and move on.
Then you make your way to the town square. All of the normal market stalls and other distractions have been cleared away, and almost the entire town square is now taken up by 10 long stone tables placed in the town square, taking up the entire length and breadth of the area. All of the tables are already straining under heights of food. This smell, the aroma, fills your nostrils, fills you with a sense of contentment as you smell the roasted meats, the sweet, carefully desserts, and the enticing aroma of spiced alcoholic drinks.
Alcohol.
I was going to say good old dwarven home cooking.
Look around, and seems that if not the whole population of the city is present, then at the very least the vast majority of them. There are at the very least 200 to 300 dwarves, mixed in with a couple of half-elves and humans.
Oh, I feel
seated amongst the tables, already making merry as they chat amongst themselves, smash goblets with each other and drink and sing. I would like Angus to make a perception check, please.
Alrighty then.
Are we gonna have to fight?
I don't know.
Bob roll!
17.
Peer through the din, unsure of where exactly you're meant to sit or what you're meant to do. And then on the other side of the town square, you see another table facing lengthways so that it's so that the people seated on it are facing towards everyone in attendance. Here, you see Bruno Battlehammer, several of his retainers, and the palace receptionist. Notice that there are several seats to Bruno's left that are unaccompanied. Just enough.
Yes.
Approach the table, and seated in one of the seats, head in the face, is a familiar gnome figure. Bartleby
Bloody hell, he's already fucking done.
looks up at you and waves as you approach, and he says, "Hello, fellows!"
Bartleby,
Then-
you son of a bitch.
Long time no
Then-
see. Keep him busy.
Says, yes. In fact, I've drawn up some very good plans, as you'll see soon. He then takes a swig of whatever he's drinking and immediately begins scribbling on a large piece of parchment in front of him. As you pass him to get to your seats, you can't help but noticing that the plans are incredibly detailed, almost as if he spent the last several days while he hasn't been with you working on them. And they appear to be a plan for some sort of what he has labelled as off-blood-powered Feywild combat device.
I
No,
see
again,
Radicus
again.
and I go, hey!
Again, I just
Because-
breathe in and just move on.
Radicus immediately pops up from Bartleby's shoulder and leaps from it onto Reaver's shoulder, and he squeaks something furious as he perches there and remains firm.
Hey, little buddy.
Argyle, do you cast Speak with Animals on yourself?
I do.
Immediately, the squeaking of Radicus immediately turns into a voice that you can comprehend. Oh, fuck yeah, you fucking back. Oh, yeah, I'm fucking traveling with you now. I can't stand another minute with this guy. He's gone fucking loopy, innit?
Oh my god.
He's just spent the last 2 days just fucking scribbling on this parchment and you fucking reading about bloody robots and all sorts of other weird shit, governor. He's fucking terrifying me.
Let's get you a drink, little buddy.
All right.
I'm sure you need it.
Well, my dear Radicus, I'm sure there's a nice.
No idea what he's saying. He's just rambling, squeaking.
Yeah, he's just squeaking.
Well,
Take a seat. You take your seats, and Reaver holds up her goblet to Radicus. He immediately says, "Oh, fuck yeah!" Dips his head into the goblet. Says, "Oh, it's good shit in here, like the dwarves, like never badmouth a dwarf in it. Like they bring out the good shit, yeah. Like governor. Oh, I feel so good."
well, Miss, our dear Radicus, there is a nice tiefling over here that I'm sure would love the company. You're more than welcome to join us.
Argyle, you take your seat next to Angus. You take your seat next to Reaver and Milo. Beside you, Cujo is wagging his tail furiously, his nose basically pulsing like a heart, like writhing and beating as the aromas of all the food overtake him. And you look at him, and he looks at you, and he just says, food.
Easy now, Cujo. I throw him a full chicken.
Grab one of the chickens off the table and toss it on the ground, and he immediately says, "Oh, thank you, master." He begins
Is
like
the
tearing
temple
the-
bird at this feast?
Unfortunately, you can't see the temple bird.
Oh, I could have cast animals on it, and we could have talked. I could have talked to the bird for you.
When you get the pet
Yes.
to complete your.
I'm just hanging with her at the moment.
She's there while you do your herbalism, and when you complete it, she'll come and join you.
Is the priest here?
Yes, but he's not at your table.
Oh.
Did you look round and you see him seated amongst the commoners on one of the other tables. He sees you and he raises his goblet and smiles. On his shoulder sits the temple falcon.
I'll raise my goblet. And then I raise the rat.
Oh no, don't do that in front of the
Not for
falcon.
eating, just for introducing. They have to be friends.
As you
Oh my god.
You raise Radicus in your hand. He goes, oh, easy. I didn't sign up for this roller coaster ride, innit? Falcon raises one wing and opens its mouth with a hear this as he's putting his life in your hands.
Oh my god.
Hello, beside you, Ramstein is just sitting there, and he's got a sad look on his face as he looks around and he says, "There's no grass."
Are there
We
any
got like
carrots?
salad over here.
Yeah, you grab a salad bowl and you just place it on the floor next to him, and then he says, "It'll do."
Thank you.
Whatever.
It'll do this time.
Angus, there is one seat left, the one to the very left of Bruno Battlehammer. As you approach, he looks at you, looks you up and down, takes in your attire, your official Moradin robes and armor. He says, "Seat of honor is reserved for you, Sir Hammerfall."
Well, look at the fancy man with the fancy.
I'll take my seat.
Take your seat. And he looks at you. He says, "Enjoy the finest foods that Gauntlgrim has to offer." And as you reach over to grab a plate, he raises his goblet and taps on it. Loud, magical singing of a bell rings through the town square, and the din of the commoners stops. They all able with rapt attention. Bruno stands up in his seat and he says, in Dwarven, Dan Cooper, you're going to cast Comprehend Languages on yourself so you can at least hear the praises that are going to be lavished upon you.
I can't understand anything. Just
Neither
sit
can
there
I.
like,
I was gonna say,
Just
I'll
sit down and
translate.
shut up.
Dan Cooper casts Comprehend Languages on himself, and Bruno begins to speak. Citizens of Gauntlgrim and friends of the dwarves, thank you for attending this special feast tonight. He says, as you are no doubt aware, 2 days ago, Gera, our legendary fire primordial, the source of the heat of the Grand Forge, and that which lights our city, was stolen. By who, you might ask? Our ancestral enemies, Drow. This, he nods towards his guards. They stand up and cross the town square to a small, what appears to be a large rectangle-shaped object with a cloth placed over it. Guard pushes the shape into the middle of the town square between the commoners' tables and your own, and then pulls off the cloth. Inside, underneath, is a cage where the drow stands, stripped down to his underwear, no longer covered in webs, humiliated, just the same. He stares at you in disbelief and hatred. Seems to know better than to start running his mouth. There's a
Can I throw a tomato at him?
I was just thinking the same thing.
There is a collective boo and groan in the audience. A couple of the commoners begin to throw fruit at the cage. Here's your
Awesome. I
chance.
want to
Get
use
on it.
something at him.
You grab a tomato from a salad bowl and throw it. I'd like you to make a dex check, please.
Oh god.
Square right between the eyes.
Go for the eyes. Oh Christ. 13 plus.
Do I add anything to that?
Yeah, what's your dex?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
good deck.
Plus 4.
It's 4, yep.
So 17.
Grab a tomato and you shout, "Yeah, take this!" And you throw it at the cage. It sails through the wide open bars, hits the drow in his chest and splats all over him, leaving a red splotch. Immediately looks at you and glares daggers, his mouth twisting into a curl. Nicus on your shoulder shouts, "Oh, yeah, you fucking show him, yeah!"
Oh, we love you, Radicus.
Bruno waits until the din of booing quietens down, and he says, "Yes, shall have his punishment. The previous hours has had his audience with myself and my advisors, and has been trialed in accordance with the laws of Gauntlgrim and the laws of Moradin." Then claps his hands. He says, "Not only was this drow captured and Megara returned to us, but driving force behind this atrocious crime was also brought to justice." Reaches down and hoists up the Mind Flayer's head, which he places on the table in front of him. Asks ripple through the audience, and then loud cheer. It all says, yes. Mind Flayer has been killed. Great enemy of all civilized races. One of the tyrants of the Underdark. Keeping the head where it is. Puts his hand once again. Then turns to Angus. Says, "Angus, stand, would you please?"
All right.
Angus stands up and that immediately goes quiet. Bruno says, "Who do we have to thank for this? Well, we have a brave group of adventurers. No doubt some of you have heard of them. Are pretty famous these days. This we have to thank Fellowship of Steel." As he says this, there are cheers and claps in the audience, but he quickly silences them by raising his hand. Hold your applause. There is still more to come. I have bestowed honors, gifts, and rewards among the Fellowship of Steel for their service to dwarven kind. The most notable among them is have inducted into the Hammers of Moradin, the Angus Hammerfall. Gestures towards Angus. Angus, do you take a bow?
I might do a slight bow. It's not really fun to go for me, but
Okay, slight bow. Says,
As we make our way to heaven.
Uncle, Spire of Moradin, Angus's ward. Please rise.
1 second, sorry. Esteban Ortez, thank you so much for the follow, buddy, and welcome to the Metal Crew. Continue, sorry.
Is Noggle, Lord of Angus and Squire of Moradin. Please rise.
And stand up, and I feel like an even bigger giant around all the dwarves.
yes, you who gaze upon me.
Kneel before Zod!
And finally, would like to thank the remainder of the Fellowship. Milo, who gave his life in service of our kind and was rewarded by Moradin himself. Milo, do you stand?
I jump on top of Ramstein and make a bow.
Anne Cooper, musician who I believe has a considerable following here in Gauntlgrim. Anne stands up, almost. Anne, what do you do? You play a riff on your instrument when you take a bow?
No, I just take a big bow and I'll let it just linger for about half an extra second. Soak up the attention.
As Dan Cooper takes a bow, you what sounds like a number of female squeals coming from the direction of the crowd.
What was that? An erection from the crowd.
Female squeals.
Your fangirls.
The throat slitter, who calls herself among the number of the harpers. You stand up, Reaver.
Yep. I'm standing.
At this, the priest stands up from his seat and he shouts out, "That's me girl!"
Oh.
Falcon on his shoulder caws loudly, and Nargle, you hear this as, "Oh yeah! Hair like a bird's nest! Yeah!"
So that's what the Falcon sounds like. Like a big
My
disgruntled
female Falcon.
A big disgruntled biker.
Then he says, "And finally, as someone who helped indirectly, who is a member of the Fellowship nonetheless, but who other matters to attend to, Bartleby Snavillier."
I just hold him up like in the Lion King.
Bartleby by the scruff of his neck and lift him up. He's red in the face. Immediately shouts out, "Thank you, everyone! Stay tuned for when I go into detail about my Feywild powers."
Just put it back down.
Back down you go. Down you go.
Unfuck it.
Says, "And stay away from a woman named Maxine."
Oh, for God's sake. Again, just
I have a sleep spell. I will use it.
wouldn't take much. At this point, just give him another drink. He'll pass out anyway.
Yeah, I refill his sippy cup.
Bruno
my
waits as the crowd ruptures into rapturous applause, clapping and cheering their heroes. And he lets it linger, and after 30 seconds, so he raises his hand and it slowly dies down. He says, "And now, to the less ceremonial and more business-oriented part of this event." He says, "We have upon us, lucky enough to have us today, a member of the Hammers of Moradin." And turns to Angus. He says, "Sir Angus, drow before you has been tried and found guilty by my court. As your first act, the Hammer of Moradin, honorary that you exact the punishment."
Hey, and what was the punishment, my king?
Says, "Punishment is for you and Moradin to decide.
Okay.
And Moradin does not brook those who would commit acts, but Moradin is also merciful. Says, this act here will define your legacy, your path, servant to dwarvenkind."
Right. So
Right.
you get
Can
the
I
bloody name
roll
or
a religion check to? Because obviously this is a big decision to make. Can I check in with Moradin to see?
You can.
Survey says
The 17.
Close your eyes and try to hear the voice of Moradin. Moradin basically reaffirms the king's words that for his evil acts, the fact that he would attempt to undermine dwarven society to such a degree, to undermine the authority of dwarven sovereignty and the king, he is eligible for the death penalty. But on the other hand, Moradin is merciful. So he leaves it up to you whether you would like to enact the death penalty, simply have this man imprisoned to live the rest of his days.
Now, don't get me wrong. I would very much like death penalty, but All right. We'll stand up and walk beside the air cage where he is currently.
Do you want to roll for it?
No, I think I know how to handle this one. We'll stand up, walk down to beside the cage where the drow has been is currently chained up, and go. As easy as it would be, his crimes against the capital have been great and dishonored and stands against us. But as we have already said, Moradin does forgive those. So, as much as the death penalty would suit him, the one who would steal from Dwarven society, I declare that he will spend the rest of his days working the mines to give back to that he stole from.
As
So
you
we work
say
with him. Oh, sorry, I was going to add one more thing.
Finish, go ahead.
May he work the mines until the day where his last breath leaves him, and his body finally leaves this earth once and for all.
As you finish, the crowd immediately cheers and begins to clap once again. Nor waits for them to die down, and then he beckons you back to your seat. And he says, "Very well. Our knight, our hammer of Moradin, has rendered his judgment, and so it shall be." He turns to Tard standing beside the cage. He says, "Take him to the mines." Immediately hoist up the cage, begin carrying the quiet, humiliated drow. North says, "And one final matter to attend to. Sir Angus, have conducted your first duty as a hammer of Moradin. You are now a true knight. But knight must be a lord. And if I am not mistaken, you have no land for your own."
You would be correct, my king.
Says, "Very well. Therefore, I bestow upon you the Angus Fall." Just going to quickly bring up a map of the Sword Coast and.
So great, he's going to be a lord in game and out of game. What have you done?
We are breaking the fourth wall here, people.
That's
Have you
like
received that yet?
6 walls.
It's like 16 walls, man. Damn.
All right, there we go. I'm going to bring up the map of the Sword Coast. See where your stronghold lies. Is this all? It is. Stream. Window. Okay. It's out a map of the Sword Coast. Points towards something marked on the map. Citadel Felbar.
Oh?
Citadel Felbar.
Oh.
Right here, middle of the map. He says, "I henceforth bestow upon you, Angus, and your fellowship, deed to Citadel Felbar." To its spot on the map. It says, "Well, it lies in ruins currently. It was once a great dwarven citadel, a place where pilgrims came from all around the Sword Coast to pay tribute and respect heroes. I believe under you it will once again turn to that former glory."
I shall do my best, my king, to restore it to where it once was stood.
Claps, and then he hands you both the map and an old piece of parchment, which, upon quickly scanning through it, you determine to be the deed to Felbar. Listed as a old hall. Currently ruined, but soon you'll be able to restore it. It says, "And that I will have you know, while you were gone, or contraption. Did you call it there, Bartleby? Bartleby shouts up, Bartleby Express, my lord! I'm the captain! With that, he reaches into his cloak and
God damn it.
proudly on his head. Northers, will have you will be happy to know that as payment for your services, your contraption, your Bartleby Express, with the help of Bartleby here, has been restored to full working order. The drill has been repaired and reinforced.
You are too kind, my king. Oh, it's the happiest day ever.
Nor then holds up both his hands and says, "And now, may feast." The cheer and the din of clanging goblets.
Great booze up.
Oh yeah.
Goblets clapping and joyous murmurs begins to once again rise. You sit down and dig into your meal. And Cooper, would you like to, during the meal, Dan Cooper, the female receptionist looks over at you and she winks, red in the face. And she mouths to you, "Maybe we should take this back to my house."
Oh my.
Bye, Dan.
What do you do, Dan?
Well, as any reasonable tiefling bard would actually do, I take the opportunity while it lasts, and I run immediately behind her.
You'll watch as Dan gets up from his seat, putting his food and drink where they are, and he runs towards her. He giggles and then wraps her arm around his waist and leads him away from the town square into one of the nearby alleyways. They both disappear into the...
Oh, he's in for a rough night.
You look at Bartleby as he watches them go away, and he just looks at you and goes, shudders visibly.
I'd like to entertain everyone while we're drinking with a little drinking song.
Oh.
Right, go ahead. Hey, sing.
See the little goblins, see the little feet, and the little nosy words of the goblin's feet. Yes!
You begin a song, and soon most of the crowd begins singing along, and one song turns into another, and then another as you all get progressively drunker, and then the night soon fades away in a montage of drinking, singing, and making merry. Oh, Sally Brown, she's the gal for me. Oh, Sally Brown, don't you leave her. And with that, I think we will leave this part, this session here, because we actually have a fair bit of downtime stuff to get.
Yeah.
You do, yes.
It's to end it. Okay. First of all, we have... So you spend the next few days, spend about a week in Mortal Grim, because, you know, you've got some things to forge, and you've got to, get things in order for restoring the...
I've got a few things to do.
Yes. So first of all, I will bring the stronghold up in 5e rules.
I miss.
So we have ended the session here because I thought it was a good time to end it, and we have like a fair bit of downtime stuff to get into. So it's going to take up like 10-15 minutes.
Nice.
The Guildhall rules are here in 5e rules. Awarded a landed title by Brunor Battlehammer, which grants you ownership of a disused Guildhall. The Guildhall is in a state of disrepair and provides no benefits on its own. You may spend GP at the end of each session to improve it and the following properties. Before you can do anything else with it, you must restore it to basic operation, which will cost 1,000 GP.
Excellent.
Let's do it.
was going to say, I'm sure between the lot of us, we have enough to do that right off the bat.
Right, so 1,000 divided by 5, that's going to be 200 GP each.
Works for me.
I can
Yeah,
sacrifice 200.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
fine.
considering
Yep.
we'll get the money back from, because it increases,
So
we get
you,
income as well.
you do get income from the guild hall, yes, because people will hear of the fellowship's fame and come to join. In fact, as you restore it to basic operation, you recruit your first 5 guild members, 3 veterans and 2 mages.
So
I
we
dig it.
we not only get income from the hall, but we
Mines,
and the
we get
mines.
income from the mines and the hall.
Plus the guild members that have come to join that will come to join the guild.
Yeah. So the more we upgrade,
Restoring-
the more money we get back from them.
So restoring the guild hall to basic operation will take a week, so you don't get to roll for income this week, and you don't get to use your veterans and mages until the next session.
Fair enough.
You have placed the order, and you've paid the money, and you hire a dwarven construction company to travel to Citadel Felbar and begin restoring the guild hall. During the downtime in between your forging work, going to take a trip or 2 up there to just supervise them and see what they're doing.
Hooray.
Okay, let's go one by one. We will start with Nargle. What did you want to do in the downtime?
Well, I can't repair the axe because it's been repaired for me.
Yep.
What is there for me to do?
I have listed on my sheet you want to apply mithril to your axe.
Oh yes, I wanted to apply mithril. Yeah.
Okay, so are you going to hire an NPC to do that, or would you like Angus to do the work?
Well, it was going to be an even trade because I was going to give him some mithril as well.
Yes. There's a chance he may fail though and destroy the mithril. It's not likely, but it's
Can I
possible.
roll now for that?
He has to decide who he's going to ask to first.
Well, how much would it be hiring the NPC?
500 GP.
I'm going to risk it with my brother.
Right, so this counts as your downtime activity for the week's downtime.
And where
Angus, I would
is...
like you to make a smith check, please.
So that's what I roll plus proficiency.
Yep, plus
Yep.
what you rolled plus
Yeah. That's gonna be a 16.
16. Very well. Yes, you succeed on the check. I would like you to remove 4 pieces of mithril from your inventory. And Argle's Giant Slayer axe is now a mithril Giant Slayer axe. What the mithril does is it grants a +1 bonus to attack rolls, but not damage.
So it moves from a +11 to a +12. Excellent. I can work with that.
Wow.
Right, next, Angus. What would you like to do in your downtime? I have written down here you would like to mithril your dwarven thrower, and you would like to enchant your dwarven thrower.
Oh yeah. No, I'd like to melt down my Lightbringer mace and take its enchantment over to my dwarven thrower.
I must
I
have,
need to
must have.
help.
Oh, sorry, Kitty. go
Okay.
on.
Sorry, Kitty.
Do I need to help?
Well, I can
With
get
that?
back to help
I'm going
technically.
to give him the option. You have 2 options, Angus. You can have an NPC Arcanist come and do the Arcana check, in which case this will cost you 800 GP and a Smith check, or 200 GP, which is just the cost of the components. You can do the Smith check. So either Kitty, Dan Cooper, or Bartleby can do the Arcana check.
Wait, so I still need to pay for the. Technically, I have all the components myself, don't I? Because I have the hammer, I have the mithril, everything.
But you're still paying for some miscellaneous things to magic item.
Right. Well, I imagine Bartleby probably has the highest arcana.
All right, so you'd like to choose Bartleby?
Who's Arcana?
Bartleby's Arcana will probably be higher. It's got 5 intelligence, so it'd be 1 point higher. Right, so I'd like you to subtract Angus.
Oh, what
It'll
now?
be-
Sorry, you
You're
broke-
breaking up.
So I'd like you to subtract 200 GP, please, Angus.
Yep.
Hang on, that's not the correct channel to this rolls in. All 1d. And Bartleby just passes the
Works for
Arcana
me.
check. Now perform a Smith check, please.
And that is an 18.
Oh, yes, okay. So your Dwarven Thrower, in addition to its existing properties, inherits the properties of the Lightbringer, except for the +1 bonus. That is cancelled out by the Dwarven Thrower's +2 bonus.
Yes.
It does inherit the other properties, so it gives off
Yeah.
light,
It
does
gives
deal
up
radiant
light and it
damage.
does the extra damage to undead, which is what
Yes.
I'm aiming for. And holy fucking Luya.
You'd like to apply Mithril to it, I believe.
Aye, that would work too.
Yep, so you can conduct the Smith check yourself, or you can pay 400 GP to get an NPC to do it.
Okay, I rolled and I got a not natural 20, so I'm just going to go ahead with that.
Right, that will remove 10 Mithril from your inventory.
Okay, who's keeping track of the mithril? Because I don't have that written down.
I think that leaves you
Liam.
with,
Yeah.
that leaves you with two pieces altogether.
Yeah, that's 2 pieces left.
Okay, so your Dwarven Thrower now has a +1 to attack rolls.
So it basically has so it was a +2 plus my proficiency. Jesus Christ, I think that's like +7 now.
So it's a very good weapon. Kitty, I have on my sheet here that you would like to enchant your sword with the fire property.
Yup.
So that will cost you 100 GP plus an Arcana check if you'd like to do it yourself, or 600 GP
Nah,
if
I'm
you
gonna do it myself.
make an Arcana check, please.
Yep. Just a sec. There we go.
Okay, and subtract 100 GP from your GP total. Now, would you like to enchant it with the Mind Flayer Tentacle or with the Remahaz Scale?
Oh, Rema has scale.
Okay. In addition to its existing properties, it now inflicts 6 fire damage.
You cut out.
In addition to its existing properties, it now inflicts 1d6 fire damage.
Cool.
And I also have for you that you'd like to add chitin plating to your armor.
What?
To add chitin plating to your
Oh,
armor.
that's right.
Okay, so that will cost you either 200 GP, and Angus will do it, or 300 GP, and an NPC will do it.
I'll get Angus to do it.
Angus, make a Smith check, please.
That's a 21.
If you roll low for me, I'm gonna kill you on Tuesday.
Understandable.
Okay.
I've done pretty well so far. So you're in safe hands.
Okay, so that removes all of the chitin that you're currently carrying,
Yep.
and your armor now provides immunity to critical hits.
Oh, damn!
Great.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
That is insane.
that's awesome.
No extra AC, just immunity to critical hits.
That is awesome, though.
And
Holy crap.
I'm assuming I'm doing herbalism in this time as well.
Yes. So you may make an intelligence check, please.
What's my... Is that just a straight intelligence check?
Straight intelligence check.
So that's just +4 then. 14.
Yes. You become fully proficient in herbalism. Spend the next week in deep tutelage with the priest and Falcon while you're at it. And next week, the Falcon will probably join you. You're now fully proficient in herbalism and may add your full proficiency bonus to checks.
Sweet.
Emmy, you would like to silver your a whip, and you'd like to enchant your elongated whip.
Yes. I was originally going to do that through an NPC, but now I've got that second poison sac. I would be willing to go through Angus.
Alright, so first to silver the whip for Angus. That's going to cost 200 GP for the components, for the silver, and Angus will now attempt a smith's check.
Alrighty. How many of those things did you say you had again?
You talking to me?
No, is this
Remy.
the silver or
No.
the elongated whip?
Which one are we doing first?
Silvered whip.
Which one, sorry?
Silvered whip.
Silvered?
Okay.
So you don't have any silver, I believe. You've had to
No, I
buy.
don't have any silver, no.
That's what the 200 GP is for, to
Yeah,
buy.
yeah.
Angus just has to do a smith.
Okay, what was the pass, by the way?
12.
Okay, I rolled an 11, so you just got
Oh.
over the line thanks to proficiency. No, I rolled an 11 plus my 3, so you just scraped.
Oh.
Okay, your
Thanks,
normal
man.
I think I felt Remy's butt clench from that.
Please don't kill me, I made it!
You made it. That's okay. It's the next one that you need
Okay,
to
I
fucking
will
make.
do it. Look, I'm
You live for now.
because I was really worried it was 15. It's like fucking shit.
normal whip is now silvered, and this means that it will deal extra damage to undead and fiendish monsters.
So you're
And like-
becoming a Belmont, aren't you?
Yes.
Yep.
Almond.
It's also
This
going
is
to
your-
get blessed when I get the chance.
Oh dear.
Yes. This is your undead and lycanthrope killing whip.
Yes.
Now, enchanting your elongated whip. This will require an Arcana check. You can either have an NPC do it for 600 GP,
I
or
don't
you
even
may
have
have
one.
me, Dan Cooper, or Kitty attempt an Arcana check.
I'll get Bartleby too, because he has the highest. And I have 2 different poison glands. Will that make it easier?
Yes,
It means you get 2 chances.
2 chances.
Okay. Cool. So I've got 2, so yeah.
First of all, you're subtracting 200 GP for the
200?
miscellaneous components,
Yep.
and
Now I'm down to 180.
Oh, jeez.
he passes.
Woohoo!
So your elongated whip now deals an additional 1d8 poison damage.
Nice.
I was gonna say, do I have time for anything else, or is it just those 2 things I'm working on?
You can only do up to 2 things.
No, that's fair. That's
Or-
fair.
Okay, so that's both my things gone? Cool.
All right, and finally, Dan Cooper. What would you like to do before next week's session? Know what he's doing right now, but week to decide what to do. So what would you like to do? Would you like to do in the downtime, Dan Cooper? Form, do some work, spend some time with your lovely lady here that you've just run off with.
I feel like he'd be a hit it and quit it.
You may build a proficiency. You
You
may
know too
select
much.
what you'd like to be proficient in, and you can learn it in the downtime.
What was I going through a proficiency in before?
Believe you're learning Kura's tools last time.
Let's continue on with it. Why not?
Right, so first make an intelligence check.
Alright, I'll let you roll for me because my hands are tied.
Intelligence modifier.
It is. Intelligence is a +1.
Okay, so you've become fully proficient in Tinkerer's tools as you spend the week. You contact a merchant and get permission to use the workshop, and you just spend the week taking things apart, putting them back together, and become fully proficient in Tinkerer's tools. For your second downtime activity, what would you like to do? Perform and gather some money and renown in the city?
I would like to do that. Yes.
Your
Let's
charisma
see.
modifier is +5, so I will roll a performance check for you. Ooh, and that's a 21. So, what's your
Plus
set list? Yep. So what's your set list?
Oh, I'll playing some Johnny Cash. Doing a bit of Hurt.
Nah, I was gonna say.
Where did I go wrong? I have a set list of Johnny Cash songs, and it goes down a hit. You play in the taverns, play in the streets, you busk, and eventually you are hired for a legitimate gig, performing for some sort of dwarven party. In this time, you earn.
Please more than 3. Please more than 3. Please more than 3.
There you
I'll
go, your
just
first
rob them.
professional gig.
Earn-
Damn.
Earn 150 gold from this
Nice.
week's filming.
So that you're a hit with the dwarves. Who knew?
Ah, getting in with the dwarves, eh?
And
No.
anyone who has any items they have not yet attuned to may attune to them.
Oh well, there you go. I'm already attuned to my throwing hammer.
After. And that's all our downtime stuff taken care of. So
Are you doing like selling stuff at the start of next session?
we can visit the
I'm
shop
gonna have.
at the start.
Cool.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna have to because I now have a defunct, obsolete warhammer to sell.
Yes. But before I go, I must ask what you plan to do next session. Options ahead of you. You can go to the city of Everland and officially be inducted into the Harpers and receive whatever boons that gives you. Or you may return to the Temple of the All Artifact and learn what's next on your path. Or you may journey to the town of Parnas and board Blagothus's Cloud Castle.
Oh, God.
A part of me kind of wants to take care of that Harper's one. 'cause
Yeah,
we've been
same
sitting on
here.
that for a while.
Yeah, I think we should do with
and
the
it might
Harpers.
help get the castle.
And yeah, more,
to be
I was
honest.
gonna say any extra help we could possibly get would be great at this point.
Yeah,
I feel
and
like-
they might provide something to the guild hall. So
Yeah.
That would also be fantastic.
And I am a harper.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
been waiting to be paid for her. Waiting to be paid for like weeks at this point. She was promised payment. They told her, "Oh, you'll be paid when you do this simple job of rescuing them from that dungeon and bringing them back." It was like nearly 4 months ago in game. So
To be fair, a lot has happened in that time.
Oh yeah.
I got some funky stuff.
I'm happy. I've just got my enchanted weapon, so
I have
am happy.
I have an undead smiting holy crusher. I'm very happy. so happy. Hammer.
buy to M1.
I am one.
Hi Dan, congratulations on the concert and getting laid.
Oh, he's already gone.
His internet has died. And with that, our session comes to an end because we literally had like only 20 minutes of downtime stuff to get.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was
A
gonna
long
say,
time coming.
props to the Tiefling tag team for wiping out the Mind Flayer.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And getting the halfling killed, but you know, I'll
I didn't.
not you, not you.
Look, everyone had an up and down in that.
Yes.
So,
I
yeah.
forgot to mention that my weapon reaches 10 feet. That was on me. I accept
know.
that.
One hand, when the tiefling teleported you within range for the mind flayer to kill you, but on the other hand, he did get the killing blow on it.
That is true. So it can be forgiven. I'm alive and I've got my weapon, so you know what? I'm happy.
You did a good job wiping out the drow guys anyway.
Yeah. Oh, that. I'm happy that that is
Fuck
on
him
camera.
up. So
I am gonna go back, watch that, and record that.
And I
That
helped.
was amazing.
I'm gonna have to make more of those poisons.
Yes,
can-
well,
that is
that's what I'm
amazing.
doing next session. Is I'm gonna try and buy as much ingredients as I
Alright,
can.
I'll be back in a
Before
second. I'm just gonna end the
Hang on,
stream.
hang on, Liam, hang on.
Okay, yep,
Before I forget, level up.
Yay!
Yeah!
I nearly forgot.
Finally, level 7.
Level 7, no. For
No,
you,
he's level 6.
Six.
You're level 6 and level 2. Come.
level 6 farm for you.
I thought I was getting level 7 now. What the fuck?
No, you're
dude?
getting
Level 8
level
altogether.
6.
We're getting to 8th level, and you have 2 druid levels, so
8 minus 2 equals 6.
Don't
We've
you
gone
challenge
through
me,
this
woman.
like 3 weeks in a row.
We have. I will attest to that. I remember hearing this conversation 3 times in a
Yeah,
row.
Thank you.
I'm a barbarian. What do you expect?
Hey, I get an extra. I get me an extra spell for that.
The
I'm here if
quote
anyone.
last week, second level druids will fuck me over no more.
Over no more. I remember that from last
Mindless
week.
rage.
Yeah.
Mindless
because
rage.
this level you gain the ability to not be charmed.
Yes.
Now, I
Level
believe,
6 barbarian.
I helped Kitty level up last week, so you already know what you're doing, Kitty.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing.
Right, so Liam, you get 1d12 plus your Constitution mod in HP.
Where's my D12?
Oh yeah, I get more HP now.
D10, is that the
That's
D10?
good. I'll do it in chat.
That's D10.
One. Oh. Roll.
God damn it.
How are we doing it? Just
One.
ask.
D12.
I get
I've
1d8.
got 4 health.
8 was it plus my constitution?
To
Yeah.
55 health.
Constitution.
I rolled a 7 plus my constitution.
Fuck you.
Okay,
I
so
rolled
that's a 10.
I love my constitution. I love
Specifically
it
for
so much.
M2, specifically for M2, make sure you add your new hit dice.
Oh yeah, thank you for reminding me that. That fucked me over for quite some time before people mentioned that.
Yes. So remember Liam to add that you now have another D12 hit dice. And as a level 6 barbarian, you can rage 4 times a day,
Yep.
Damn.
and you get your next path feature.
Which is mindless rage.
Endless rage, yes. That's
I-
your level.
I get a new clerical domain feature.
So
Yeah.
that health bonus was better than last time. At least it was. I'm now to 84.
Oh,
Yes.
you're up to 4, are you?
Shut up, dwarf.
Do I guess where I'm at before we add the plus 10 for my amulet of health?
Dwarf.
Yes.
Shut up.
I'm at
Amulet of
53, but I'm
I'm
also
at
considering-
59.
I was gonna say,
You got
but
more
I'm
than me,
also
nice.
considering
And-
the,
Yeah. I was just gonna say Angus is now taking a feat to get even more health.
Oh god.
I'm at 55 health. I think that puts me at the least, doesn't it? Other than Bartleby.
And Bartleby's got the
where's
lowest.
my-
Bartleby's health, until he at level 7, health is only 47. So, and he only gets a D4 for the next level. So yeah, he's
Where's my thing? Resilience. Oh, right there.
Well, my dex is now 20.
overpowered Dex.
Nice.
Dex and then some. Yeah, I got the tough feat, which increases my hit point maximum by an equal amount to twice my level. So I get an extra 16. Plus every level after this, I get an extra 2 hit points for my HP.
Well, look
Now,
at you.
assuming
Mr.
Milo took the second level in what he told me he was going to multi-class into,
Yep.
you now have spells.
Yep.
You just pick those spells as normal, but the number of slots you get is determined by the multi-class slot
Yeah.
table.
Yeah, I understood the table. I've got that
Classing
figured
too.
out. I'll tell you once the stream ends.
Okay.
Who wants to guess my health now?
It's gonna,
No.
have you
Too
reached
much.
100 yet?
it's just lots of
Before I add my plus 10, I'm on 99.
Oh, he's
Oh,
reached 100.
Good lord.
Triple digits!
It's like the part in a Final Fantasy game where your characters breach 1,000 for the first time.
Yep.
Ooh, that gives me-
The cleric somehow has more HP than the barbarian, despite the fact that the barbarian has the highest hit dice out of any class.
I love my constitution.
And your new feat. Wow, yes.
Yeah, that too. That plus 16 HP is always helpful. Plus, I get my new clerical feature, which is amazing.
Also
Very,
have
very
the highest armor class out of everybody as well.
Yep. The healer is now also the tank.
Yep, you don't need me anymore.
No.
Hey?
You don't need me anymore.
Oh no, you're here for damage.
Yeah, you're the
With
damage.
that being said, I now have a absolutely amazing throwing hammer that can crush the undead, and with my new domain feature, I would also add fire damage to attack every turn.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Dodge
at
domain
Divine Strike, at
represents.
8th level, you gain the ability to infuse your weapon strikes with the fiery power of the Forge. Once on each of your turns, when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can cause the attack to deal an extra 1d8 fire damage to the target. It goes up to 2d8 when I reach 14. But
Ooh.
still, the fact that, I could chuck this, use two-handed.
My initiative just changed.
Oh,
Yes, yeah, because your dex went up, so your initiative mod is higher. And also,
now-
don't forget to increase any of your dex-related skills by one.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now.
Yeah. I'm insanely happy. Against
Our
something that-
proficiency goes up as well.
At 8th
No,
level, I'm
9.
pretty sure
That
it
was
doesn't.
level
It's
9.
9.
Okay, I must have
Level
misread the
9,
book.
yeah. I got it started
Level
thinking it was level
9
8,
it goes up.
Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't go up every. You think it goes up every 4 levels, but it doesn't. It's a bit odd.
Weird.
Sometimes it goes up every 4 levels. Sometimes it goes up every 5 levels. So now you can end the stream, Liam.
okay.
Thank you everyone for joining.
I shall return. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining in this relatively short D&D session. Because, yeah, the dungeon we were in, we were almost finished, but unfortunately it went on a bit longer last week. Well, not last week, 2 weeks. But, yep, we're back in full force now, and we will be back with more D&D next week. We've leveled up. We've now got a citadel to call our own, so woo! I died. No, I didn't die. I almost died. Remy died. We killed a mind flayer. We got stuff. It was all good, so good. Fun times were had. And I will be back tomorrow with Call of Cthulhu. And depends if I'm up to it, I will do more Last of Us Part 2 later on tonight. As always, thank you so much to everyone who's joined in today. Thank you so much for all those likes. And thank you to all the new subscriptions. Well, subscribers, not subscriptions. Thank you to all the new subscribers. You guys are awesome. If you haven't already, hit that sub and like button and follow if you're on Twitch. And come join me on the Discord if you want to stay up to date whenever I'm streaming, or if you just want to come hang and chill. But until then, my friends, I will see you guys next time. Until then, have a good one.